Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Honestly, it's unbelievable. Can we talk about this for a second? I am flabbergasted.
At what part?
That Owen plugged this. That's crazy.
Dude, I plugged this. I plugged Jake's stream on Friday because he's playing Axiom.
Do you plug the Discord and Signal?
No.
You don't have to
Dead
answer
to
that
me!
without a lawyer.
I'm turning off this camera right now.
What do we mean by plug this? Yeah, thank you.
I'm turning it off. Where's he at? Multiview, where are you at, Owen?
Don't do it.
You're gone. You're gone. You're done.
No.
You're gone forever,
What?
Owen.
We need answers here. Caleb and I are curious.
What do you need answers from?
Where are you plugging this?
Oh, I was streaming myself. I was streaming on my thing, and then I was like, "Hey, check out this other stuff that's going on. Like, check out my things that I'm doing next week, but also check out what Jake's up to and what we're up to."
I see.
I'm trying to, like get everybody involved.
Branch out, bro.
Yeah.
Branch out. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Forecast, episode 144. We've been doing this for way too long with too few followers. This episode I have titled, We've Acquired Activision. Very excited. The Forecast is a bi-weekly podcast streamed on Thursdays and released on YouTube and podcasts on Fridays. That's new. We're a community of people who love exploring and discussing all kinds of things from video games and board games to film and TV to our everyday life experiences. If you'd like to know more about what we do, you can follow us at facebook.com/TheHorizonFB, or you can come hang out in our Discord channel, or you can check out our website at wearethehorizon.com, where we have a bunch of original things for you to check out. Additionally, everything we talk about is pushed to our cast notes, which is pushed out to whatever podcasting app you are using. I am Aaron, joined by a couple additional peeps. Caleb.
That's me.
Jake John.
Oh shit, what up?
OE93.
Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
Chadwick.
Breaking the wrist on Fortnite.
And Alma Pal.
What's up?
Gosh, your intros are just, they're amazing every time, Alex. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Bro, you should have branched out from mine on the breaking the wrist on Fortnite to just break the wrist, walk away.
Oh.
All right, redo intro.
All right. Okay. I'm joined by a couple of
Oh, gosh.
Hey, I'm going to start off the top. I want to talk about a few things. One, the best thing to do when you have a podcast is get food delivered to your desk.
What's
and
up?
I will say, that is the way to live life right there. Have a podcast, be like, I need this delivered to my seat so that I can chow down on it. I agree with this. Two, I'm going to start off this with my segments, which is going to be a top 10 list except in this case, it's going to be in a top 11 list.
Oh,
Oh my
cool. Hey,
God.
Aaron, top 11 of what?
A top 11 games that were too short for $60.
Oh, okay.
If you remember,
all time.
If you this is just if you remember this list thing, it's not something I come up with. I always just find a list on the internet and then I read through it and we can see if whether or not we agree with it. But we were talking about the other week about the increases of video games from 60 to potentially 70 and maybe even more.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
To actually buy a full-fledged video game. And then I started thinking, what games have we been disappointed in that cost $60 but were not actually worth the $60 we paid? Because
so many.
Some AAA titles, some big titles, some single-player games, you can have hundreds of hours of content. The Witcher, tons of gameplay. Other games, not so much. So I found this list. I thought it was interesting. This is the 11 games that were too short for $60. Here we go. Some of these you may not know. Some of these you may know. I'm looking for opinions. Number 1, Asura's Wrath. Anybody ever played this?
Never played it.
That sounds familiar. Is that an action RPG?
It is. It's only, yes. And it's a single player game. It was on, I believe, PS2. It was only 7 hours long, $60.
Oh.
How long did you just say?
7 hours. But importantly, the game itself is divided into 18 episodes. And those 18 episodes are 20 minutes long each and equate to basically a whole bunch of QuickTime events to pad out the running time. So
it was a
7
PS3
hours?
game. For the record.
PS3. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Number
The
2
game's
is
actually incredible, though.
Is it actually incredible?
Yeah.
The only thing I know about it is that they released the ending as DLC, and a lot of people were like, "Hey, that sucks."
Yeah, not great.
Maybe that's why the base game is on this list, because if you added the DLC, the end game,
it'd be a little longer.
The game is less of a video game and more like lightly interacting with a power fantasy anime.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's very much like, I'm so strong, I'm going to blow up the planet like Dragon Ball Z level stuff.
Which is your favorite thing? Power
Yeah,
Fantasies.
it's awesome. It's very awesome.
Oh my gosh. So freaking strong. Every time, Alex. Number 2 is Wet, which was a game that came out. What year did this game come out? 2009, released on PlayStation 3. It is a hyper stylish action game. Time to complete says 7 hours. But $60 title. Not well received. Moving on,
enjoyed that game.
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, I remember playing it. It was really
Owen.
fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that you enjoyed a game that none of the rest of us either played or liked. This is totally out of character for you. If anybody has listened to the Game of the Year podcast, Owen's basically in line with all of our selections. Everything we talk about.
Yep, exactly.
On to number 3, we have Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Ooh, another awesome game.
Oh my gosh. This time to complete is 6.5 hours for a $60 game. We're sinking, boys. Number 4, Super Mario 3D World. Important note that the original release of this is 6.5 hours, which I think the one that's the Bowser's Fury thing, that's a port, right? That's not
Super
actually
Mario
a new game.
3D World. Did you say land or world?
I said world.
You said world. Okay.
Yeah. Super Mario 3D World. Number 5, Murdered Soul Suspect. This one I don't know about.
Game?
Yeah, I didn't
It's
know it
like a
was
detective
short.
game.
Yeah.
I didn't know it
6
was short though.
6.5 hours. You play as a ghost of the hero that died at the very beginning.
You are the murdered soul suspect.
Yes, which makes sense. 6.5 hours. On to number 6, we have The Darkness 2, which was a first-person shooter from 2012. Alex, is this another game you're excited about?
I like that game.
Is this just your list?
Yeah, did you make this?
No.
Did you write an editorial for cheatsheet.com to come up with a list of games that weren't worth $60?
It sounds like somewhere that Alex would post something.
So it was either the Darkness 1 or the Darkness 2 that I got banned from playing because I was playing it in front of my grandmother and then they used the C word.
Oh.
And it was like,
I
you
think that was
can't play
Darkness
this
1.
game anymore. Was it number 1?
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Back like 2007, 2008 time.
I get it.
It sounds like
Sometimes
the first one.
True.
People
true.
do get concerned about slang about money. I get
Yeah.
it. Bills. Yeah. Green. I
Yep.
mean, it just scares people. I get it.
Well, also, not a word that people don't like.
Oh, we glanced
Chat.
right off.
Do you want to be banned from this podcast, Chad?
I'm sorry.
He said
Thank
it
you.
out loud. Not loud.
Gosh, I'm gonna have to bleep it. I'm gonna have to go back to my bleeping days. On to
Those
number
were the
7.
days.
I hope you
We
do
have-
actually go back and bleep that because, like, didn't people just be so confused at what I said? And, like, you
would
have
be.
to bleep everybody's C word there because I think Jake repeated it. So
I'm
come
gonna
back.
bleep. I'm gonna bleep everyone. Don't worry, it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna listen to this one. And I'm gonna make sure.
Number 7, we have Mirror's Edge.
Okay.
Worth.
Fuck this list.
Wait,
This
whoa.
Mirror's
whoa.
Edgeworth.
That
I'm
game
not
is
saying it's-
awesome.
They
It's just
said,
saying
like-
short games.
Well, actually, it does
It's
say
saying
short for
games that were
$60.
too short for $60.
Too short for $60. So they're complaining that it is not worth the price.
Not worth the price.
Sure.
I
But it's like-
disagree.
Short.
If you went to a movie and it was 30 minutes, even if it was a good 30 minutes, you're like, hey, this is bullshit.
Well, depends on how good.
I don't know.
I
don't know.
enjoyed the $60 that I spent on Mirror's Edge, so they can
Uh-huh.
shut the fuck up.
Me too.
Yeah.
I still have not played it. I need to play it.
Mm,
This game
it's
is
a good
like,
game.
what,
Yeah, play the
13,
first one.
14 years old?
It is
Just
very
play
old.
the first one.
It holds up pretty
aged
good, though.
well.
It does hold.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you watch Jacob Geller's video about how it's still the most visually stunning video game ever
Oh my
made
God,
because
it is-
somehow he figured out how to make concrete in it look good.
Is he paying us? Is that
He
his sponsor?
freaking better
He should be.
Talk about it all the
He
time.
should be.
That was 6 hours to beat. On to number 8, we have Rise Son of Rome, which was an Xbox One exclusive. This was a 6-hour game.
Okay, but did anyone
Bad game.
actually buy that game? Because I thought it like came bundled with the Xbox like when it first came out. I feel like that wasn't a real game.
Oh, it did launch alongside the system.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think it
sure
came
somebody
bundled, though.
paid $60 for it.
It also
Yeah.
came out on PC.
It did come out on PC eventually.
Mhm.
Okay.
I don't think for $60 though.
Not
Um,
not a good game.
All right, on to the next one. And this one, I don't know that I agree with, because the problem I have with lists that include a whole bunch of games and then have one that not only has a single player campaign, but is like dominated by multiplayer, and they say it's not worth the $60. It's really hard to justify. But we have Call of Duty Ghosts
Oh.
at number
Couldn't
9.
you have put like any Call of Duty game?
Any Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
Call of
all the-
Duty game is not worth $60.
They're
Period. Done.
They're all like 6-hour campaigns, right?
Yeah, this is 5.5. You could also, they could have put Titanfall 2 on here. How long is
Yeah,
that
exactly.
campaign?
Hang on.
It's
hang on.
Titanfall 2 is also like 6 hours.
But that's like an amazing game.
But it
so
is a
still
really-
worth the
I know.
$60.
We're
It
talking
is-
short games, ladies
So-
and gentlemen. They're
We're
short.
talking short games not
That
worth
weren't
$60 because they're short.
And really, Call of Duty in general, you could honestly put any Call of Duty in here and it might fit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think to give benefit of the doubt to them, the reason they put Ghost on here and not any other Call of Duty is because Ghost is the most like negatively received multiplayer that's ever existed. And so maybe they were just going off of like, well, the multiplayer sucks, nobody plays that, and it died very quickly. So this
It could
is
be.
not worth $60 for the campaign. Which
Yeah.
I would disagree, because I was probably one of my most favorite campaigns that I have ever played from Call of Duty.
There it is.
On to number 10, we have The House of the Dead Overkill.
Okay.
I
That was
didn't
a
know what this one was.
$60
I
game.
don't
No,
even
it's
know
a
that's a game.
$6
It's a
game. It's an
rail
on-rail
shooter.
shooter. Yep.
Oh,
It's like Typing of the Dead, but without typing.
Nope.
This game was 4 hours.
Saying
to
it's
complete.
like
Dumb
Typing
Jake.
of the Dead is very funny.
Yeah,
Tell me I'm wrong.
it's ridiculous.
$60 game, 4 hours to complete the campaign. Very short.
Very short.
And at the top of the list, number 11, because we can't end at 10, but number 11, and this one's cheating because the game debuted for $30, not $60, but we have...
Why is it on the list?
Wait. We have Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
Oh,
This game, the time
It's a
to
short
complete
game.
on time to beat is 1.5 hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not. That game is not worth more than $20.
Is that even a game?
It's kind of like a demo for
It's-
5. a
It
little bit.
basically, yes, it is the like prequel to 5.
It's short, man. That's an hour and a half for $30.
Not a
Lot of money,
DLC?
guys.
I wanna
Nope.
ask you, what was second place on our Game of the Year list?
What was second
Was that
place? on our-
Metroid Dread?
Yeah, Metroid Dread depends on who plays it. I mean,
How long was that?
The longest game on this list was 7 hours, and I think what do they say, 8 to 9 for Dread is like the average time.
It's like
beats.
8.5.
If I can
on how
spell
long to
Dread,
beat
I'll
it.
let you know. Yes, what Alex said is correct.
Also, that's also games that were too short for $60. Was it too short? I don't know. That game felt fine. Maybe
For
maybe-
$60, it's kind of expensive, but it's Nintendo, so it's like
It
to
is
be expected.
Nintendo, yeah.
Yeah.
That
Feels
game
bad.
is pretty expensive for what it is compared to Hollow Knight.
Wait.
Hollow
something like
Knight,
that.
If-
Hollow Knight's
okay, yeah,
not
see-
even fair, dude.
But now
Yeah.
you're just comparing. Now you're just comparing $60 to length of game. Remember, this is the quality
No, I'm saying like
for the cost.
good Metroidvania versus good Metroidvania.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I-
specifically
honestly,
comparing Metroidvanias. All right.
If we're talking Metroidvanias, nothing's gonna beat Hollow Knight.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
like
I don't know- I don't
freaking,
know what
like,
would.
to.
20-hour game that's gorgeous tip to tail, and it's like
20.
$20.
More than 20.
I have so
Crazy.
many hours in that game at this point.
I think it's like 40
100%. 100% is a lot more, right?
Woo!
It's probably
Well, 100% is not even
I
the
have
end. You gotta get to
46
110%.
hours.
110?
Yeah,
112?
dude. It's long.
It's a long game. Let's move on to what have you been playing lately? And Jake, we're going to start with you this week.
We're gonna start with me. We never
gonna
start with.
start
Oh,
with
I'm
you.
at the
Do you
top.
want-
I should have
you're
known.
at the
No,
top.
it's fine. It's
You
fine.
26
should've
and a
looked.
half.
I was just looking
Nerd.
at how long Hollow Knight was.
Oh,
Um,
that's fine.
So these are all games I played a while ago. This is kind of like a weird spread of games I've played, open quotes, recently. So a while ago I played Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if we've talked about this game on cast. I know Caleb's played it before.
We
You
have
did.
not.
You brought it up
I
a
think I
couple
mentioned
weeks
it.
ago.
Okay. This game's great. It's really short. Speaking of games that are maybe too short for their price, I probably wouldn't pay more than $10 for it.
Hmm.
I think I got it in a Humble Bundle. I think it took me
Yeah.
to finish it. It took me 1.5 hours, and then
Wow.
it took me another 1.5 to 100% it. But it is charming. It is fun. It is funny. It's like a little Zelda up. It's got really fun bosses. The story's actually pretty interesting, even though obviously it's incredibly short. And it's just about your little turnip boy, and you get a notice from the mayor that's like, hey, you got to pay taxes on your house, and you just rip that notice in half. It's great, and so you just go around, and anytime you find a piece, like a document that says the word taxes, you just rip it in half, and that's it. That's the whole game. It's very fun.
I think
Yeah.
that's a good strategy for life in general.
No, dude, it's what is the worst that could happen?
Also, good news. It's $9.
Yeah,
Perfect.
cheap.
Oh.
Right under what I said.
Yeah,
That's how we do it.
So
No, I
Get it-
actually
get it
I
while
would
it's hot.
recommend that game. It's
Yeah, it's a lot
it's
of
really
fun.
fun. Maybe wait for it to go on sale. It might be on sale
This-
right now. I don't know.
that's,
The
that's
story
why
is
it's $9.
surprisingly
It's on
deep.
sale.
For that game.
Yeah, no, and it's genuinely funny. Like it's not.
Mhm, it
I
is.
feel like a game like that. Like I kind of expected to be like, oh look, he's a turnip and he didn't pay taxes. That's the joke. But it's actually like funny throughout. So
it's got really
you know,
fun characters.
yeah.
I
So-
was incorrect. I did say I thought you had talked about it, Jake, but Caleb, you were right. You were the one who last talked about it. That was in November 18th on our podcast.
Dang.
18. Oh
How did
my
you
God,
go through the
some little
podcast
late
fast enough to
party.
find that?
That's
Because
quick.
you can just click next on the bottom of our page.
Mm.
Is this like a self promo? You just like said
Yeah.
something. And it's like a native
Wow.
advertisement.
That's so convenient.
You can also like Google search the site.
You can do that too.
Oh, fine.
That's how I found Caleb's discussions about Unsighted the other day.
Oh, nice.
Mm.
Or did you go
Another
back and
thing.
listen to what I said? So you
Yeah, I
could
did.
play with
Oh my
that?
gosh.
Nice.
Oh my God.
gosh. Of course you did.
Incredible. Another thing I played. So I got an Oculus Quest 2 a while back. So I've been playing a few different VR games, but the only one I've played enough to really talk about is I Expect You to Die. I don't know if
game's
any of
great.
you guys have played it. Yeah, that game's awesome.
I
It's
haven't.
just like a bunch of escape rooms that you can sit down to play, so it doesn't make me vomit quite so fast. Really great, really fun.
With like a
Uh,
cool style set in a cool place with a cool story behind it.
Yeah, no, it's very clever. It's very fun. I felt like the solutions were, I'd say across the board, like not like obnoxious. It's not like one of those ones where it's like moon logic where you kind of have no idea what you're supposed to do. It's usually like, oh, I get it. If I do this, then this, then this. There are a few kind of like forced resets where like something happens and it's just like, oh, I don't know what to do and I have 5 seconds to figure it out. So you kind of got to die and restart the level. But it's not too bad. None of the levels, I think, take more than 5 minutes to complete once you know the solution. So getting back to where you were isn't, like, arduous. But yeah,
Nice.
it's
There's a
another
second game, I think.
There is. It just came out. I don't have it yet, because I wanted to play the first one first, but I will get it. Actually, maybe now if it's on sale.
Look at that.
Yeah, convenient timing. Another game, and this one I actually did beat recently. This was like maybe last weekend or something. I beat a Hat in Times DLC, Nyakuza Metro. Technically,
Nyakuza?
there's another DLC, Nyakuza. Yes, Nyakuza.
Love
As you might imagine, it is about a mafia staffed entirely by cats
it. Mhm,
Excellent.
in a metro.
God.
It's just great. It is so charming. It's so fun. The metro cars are pulled by giant cats. There's a mafia boss cat who like has you going out and like collecting all the stuff for her. It's just great.
Every time you describe like a game that no one in this group has played, it reminds me of this friend I had at work, and he played everything you played. He played Panzermädels. He played whatever that game is where you're a pigeon or you're dating a pigeon.
Awful
Powerful boyfriend.
Powerful boyfriend. Yeah, everyone. I'm sure he's played this. I bet if I asked him, he'd be like, I freaking love that game. that
Hey, A
DLC.
Hat in Time is not a visual novel. It is a platformer.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter as long as it's got some weird like these two things don't fit together, and all of a sudden we're playing a game with cats pulling thing. No, yeah,
Ah.
he's played it. Guaranteed.
But no, it is so good. If you've played the base game and you liked it at all, you should really consider picking up Nyakuza Metro. There's another one called something about a boat. Some boat one. It's okay. The boat one's fine. It's got these cute little seals, so that's like fun. But Nyakuza Metro is like awesome. It's so good. And then the last game that I've played that I forgot to put on my list.
Shame.
Forgot to put it on my
Shame.
list. I'm putting it now. I'm putting it
Shame.
now. It is
Shame.
Unearth You, which is funny that Jacob Geller got shouted out because that's where I found this game. It's like a little mobile game, but it's got like a really interesting story. You're kind of just interacting with at first what seems like a it's just like a health app, kind of like a meditation app, but it's like, oh, it's like an AI, and she's gonna like help you meditate and stuff. But as you get further in the game, she kind of like becomes self-aware and starts recovering all these memories, and it gets like really interesting.
Hey, Jake.
What's up?
It seems
What is it with you and finding games about self-aware software? Because I
It's
would like to
cool.
not have that ever.
Skynet's gonna happen, man.
Yeah, no,
It's
buckle
inevitable.
up, dude. Just get ready for it. That's what it is. You gotta prep.
Oh, that's it. You're prepping. Okay, gotcha.
Mhm,
Gotcha.
mhm.
Absolutely.
No, but this one, it's probably it may. I don't know if it was worth the money. But it's a really interesting experience. If you're into more like narrative type experiences, I think this is a really cool one to check out.
Cool. Fortnite Riskbreaker, on to you.
I had to tickle my throat, down some
Uh-huh.
Chipotle while I'm
Mhm,
on stream.
mhm.
Yeah, I get it.
So randomly, I was on
Rigorous.
Steam and I looked up Ghost Runner, I guess, probably because I saw that there was DLC coming out. And so I launched into it to see what updates they've done. There's actually a wave-based mode to where you don't have to go through any of the campaign. You could just play in a little room, progressively getting harder waves, and you get upgrades every time you finish a wave. So you start off with like bare bones, like nothingness. You're just running on walls and knifing people. Then you have you can stop time when you hold your dash while in the air. You can blade from farther away. You can mind control people. All that stuff. You get to choose one of three. It's like a card builder. You get to choose one of three that pop up randomly out of the upgrades every single time you finish a wave. So that's pretty cool. And the thing is it's not like a wave based where you have to survive. You can retry each wave multiple times, which I thought was actually kind of fantastic because once it starts getting harder and harder and harder, and you start losing, it'd be really frustrating to have to start back at 1, get to wave 11, die, and then repeat. And it allows you to kind of master each level, and then once you get it down, it just feels really, really clean and nice. Ghost Runner always just feels really clean and nice when you master the flow of it. This should not be in my list right now, so I'm going to go on to Fortnite. Fortnite, I started playing a little bit more recently. Chapter 3 came out, which they went from Chapter 1, Seasons 1 through 10, to Chapter 2, Seasons 1 through 8, and now we're on Chapter 10, Season 1. And it interested me because, I started playing a little bit towards the end of Chapter 2, Season 8, and then they did this whole, servers were down for an entire 12 hours for them to reset the stuff. The cinematics were really cool in the event and stuff like that. I think we talked about this where I said Dwayne The Rock Johnson is not now in the game and stuff like that.
Isn't this the whole thing with the island flipping?
Yes, the island flipping and it's semi Chapter 1 map is back in the game. Tilted Towers, which is one of the OG POIs, is back in the game now. It was actually hinted out that it was underneath the snow, and the snow actually melted throughout this season. After Christmas was over, and it revealed that Tilted Towers is there, and so now literally the entire lobby land's there, and you get down to 20 people within the first circle touching.
First circle.
Yeah, it's wild. But I actually have been really mastering the mechanics really well lately. There's a lot of different edits or builds that I wasn't able to do last time I was playing, but because of this meta with the ridiculous spraying red dot MK that has no bloom, which is actually kind of wild in Fortnite because you could just get lasered from across the map now, when before you would always have bloom on all your weapons, and so the meta was get close, shotgun, and SMG. Now it's you get lasered from across the map, your health could go from 200 down to 10 without you even being able to react. So being defensive and using the builds is really important right now, and I've been hitting some clips, been having some good times. Spider-Mans are annoying, but they're actually super fun and casuals. They're actually one of the best Spider-Man swinging I've ever experienced in a video game. It really makes you feel like
Like
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man?
We did it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Every episode has to happen.
Gotta do it.
But yeah,
Cool.
that's about it for me right now.
Cool. I'll go next. I recently wrapped up on Sunday It Takes Two, which I really wish I would have finished that game prior to our Game of the Year edition podcast because, man, what a freaking good game. So many good things to say about it and basically nothing bad to say at all. It's so polished. It's so fun. Each area is so different. The mechanics are unique. It's just a fun action adventure platformer. I don't know. I had a blast playing it. And the story is like actually really engaging. And at times like it's like it hits right there, right in the spot. You're like, oh, I got a little tearing up a little bit. Anyway, love that game. Big fan. If you haven't played It Takes Two yet, go play it. Find somebody to play it with. Someone that you like. Because the one thing, if you play that game with somebody you don't like and they screw up, you're going to get really angry at them.
I usually tend to avoid playing with people I don't like. That's me.
Why would you play a game with someone you don't like?
Trying to develop a friendship. Maybe it's like, maybe it's not that you don't like them. Maybe it's that you're trying to like take that next step with your friend. You're like, all right, let's play a co-op game together. This is a good game.
We should check out Dota. You should play Lich.
Yes. Thanks, Alex. That's what we call a callback in our friendship to like 12 years ago or something. Up next, we've been playing some Dying Light because we have been wanting to play through this to get to Dying Light 2, which is going to be released in February. Dying Light, survival horror game, Chad's absolute favorite. This game is really fun on easy and really melee spongy on hard. But the story is fun. Honestly, running across rooftops and scaling things like a madman, it's great. Love it. Absolutely love it. The game's cool. Weapon
I don't know
cool.
if I just changed. Like, I don't know how much I complained about it last time. I may have mentioned it once or twice about the melee and the spongy.
Per like,
but
what? What's the rate? Per 10 minutes?
Oh my gosh. towards the end of our playing, I kind of shifted my mentality from let me kill zombies to this is a free running game. And like, let me avoid the zombies, not even try to kill anything, and see how I feel about the hard difficulty when I never try to swing a weapon. And I'm like, you know what? Not that bad.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's very on hard, it's very deadly during the day. Even you don't even have to go to nighttime, which you just get one hit by whatever those big zombies are called. But I agree. I think it's less about on that difficulty. I think it's less about killing zombies and more about free running, more about just maneuvering across the map as fast as you can without getting stuck, dragged down by zombies.
I mean, the parkouring itself feels way better than the combat anyway.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it does get rid of those challenges currently at our level. Where you like kill as many zombies as you can, can between the four of you. I see us doing those challenges more once we level up a little bit, and like we can actually like maybe 3 hit a zombie, 4, 5, 6.
Or I just get a rocket launcher and I run around in circles like zombies until I get them rounded up, and then I kill them all at once.
I'd rather not spend 10 minutes kicking a zombie in the face for it to still stand back up. That's just me when it comes to combat. I'm just I don't know.
I picked up the power attack last time I played, and it was taking 3 power attacks to kill a zombie.
Dang, you must be clean hitting that. You must be, because I power attack, and I'm sitting there, power attack, power attack, power attack. This is the rest of the podcast, by the way. Power attack.
I am interested to see. I think none of us have played past about like 15-20% in this game. So
yeah.
Great.
I'm interested to see the rest of the story. I'm excited about the second one because they've been talking it up big time. Very excited. Last but not least, I played Unsighted in all caps. Make sure you know that this game is in all capitals. There's no lowercase letters. It is Unsighted, outside of the game and inside of the game, all capitals all the time. Period.
Does it mean you need to yell it?
Yes.
Is that what that denotes? I see it. Okay.
Yeah. I played Unsighted.
There
They
it is.
also
Gotcha.
they use the word all the time in dialogue, and it's always all caps.
All the time.
It's very funny.
Unsighted is a top-down action-adventure game. It's pixel art. There's a bunch of good things about this game. Maybe a couple of weird things about this game. The story's pretty cool. You're basically in a world where automatons have gained sentience because a giant crystal flew down from space, or maybe they dug it up. I don't remember exactly how they
Standard
found
stuff.
it.
landed.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, it landed.
The meteor
so-
hit the Earth and gave sentience to all the robots
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
Through anima,
Yeah.
just like they gain sentience. But then another thing came from space that like closed up the
Yeah, it
actual
landed
crystal.
on top of the meteor. And
It's
stopped it.
smaller. It's smaller than the crystal, but somehow it encompassed the crystal. Whatever.
Mhm.
Sure. And so as a result, the crystal doesn't leak anima anymore, which means all the automatons are on like a timer. And at some point, they will just no longer have anima to be able to be sentient. They will lose their sentience and they will become what is known as unsighted.
Unsighted.
Oh, sorry. They will become what is known as unsighted.
Thank you.
Got you.
So that's who you're basically fighting, is all these automatons who have sort of lost their sentience over time. And every character you interact with has a timer. You have a timer. You have an ability to extend it. You have an ability to extend other people's timers. But if you go on quest for somebody and you come back too late, they're just no longer there. So the game is really set up to make you move rapidly through things and not spend a lot of time trying to engage in one maybe small side quest or something. It also has the biggest shuriken I've ever seen in my life compared to like the size of a character.
As a
You
fun
put it on your
shuriken.
back and it's like from the top of your head to like the back of your knees. Is
Wow.
huge. And
That
you
is
can aim it
big.
and drive it. The weird thing I think about this game is the visuals for the game are kind of weird, and at times I don't know what elevation I'm on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The map.
Caleb
like,
talked about it a little bit when he talked about this game.
of course,
But
it
it
did.
has platforming, but it's like pixel art isometric view, so it's kind of hard to see where things are sometimes.
hmm
I could see that.
It's hard to know if you're on the same level as something you're trying to get to.
Right. So you throw the shuriken to try and hit one of the orbs to
Yeah.
activate something, and you're like, wait, I can clearly tell that we're on the same level here. I don't understand why I can't hit this thing.
Yeah.
But other than that,
are the
I think that's my only.
timers like the classic hit by Justin Timberlake in time?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Basically.
This
Yeah.
game's basically in time the game.
Oh my god. You think
Got it.
that was the original working title and they just couldn't get the rights?
Maybe, because there is an animation in game where you just both grab arms and then one of you like rotates your arm like 90 degrees, 45 degrees.
Maybe is that why it's unsighted? They just did a control find replace
Oh,
in
totally.
time, unsighted, and they typed it in all caps and they just didn't even fix it.
Yeah. That's totally what it
Probably.
is. Yeah.
So
That
this-
makes sense.
the biggest issue that Caleb had with this game when he first talked about it is that a lot of the weapons that you get are used to solve puzzles, and you have to go into the
Oh.
menu to equip them,
Mm.
and that takes up a lot of time. But they've totally fixed that because they added weapon
have they?
loadouts
Ah,
that you can just switch to on the D-pad.
That
Well, they
sounds
kinda-
pretty nice.
They
I
kind
might
of
go
fixed
back and
it.
play more of it then.
But the other thing is, though, if you happen to be in Alex and I's game and just happen to buy a flame sword very early on, then the first place you go to, you can just solve the entire puzzle without
Yeah.
actually doing anything because you have a flame
Ah.
sword.
Oh,
So there's
I
like a
see.
bunch of puzzles in the first dungeon that are intended to like you have to throw the shuriken through these like pylons of flame and then hit like different plants and stuff like that to melt them away. But if you explore the beginning area too much and get a bunch of money and then buy a flame sword before you go to the dungeon, you just walk up and hit it.
Yep. And that's it. That's the puzzle.
Are you also telling me this game's co-op?
It
Yeah,
is co-op.
Oh,
Oh.
I don't think I realized that.
And
Is it just two-player?
2-player co-op. It's
Yeah.
a local co-op only, so we've been playing on Parsec.
And
Okay.
importantly, I would say, Alex, there is a mod that Alex uses to zoom out the screen because the way the game's developed, if you walk off the screen as the second player, you just get teleported back to the first player,
Mm.
Wait,
which
hold
is
on.
awful.
Some
Hold
dude made
on.
a mod that will like stretch the screen out if the players get too far away, and it's very nice.
Did I just hear this correctly? You guys are in the same house, and yet you're playing this on Parsec.
Yep. Well,
They're
I
in a
probably wouldn't have
COVID
played it on
house.
Parsec, but I have COVID
That's a
right
good
now
point.
because I went
Yeah.
to Florida, and that was a
Hmm.
mistake.
Okay, this makes more sense. This is
Everybody-
recent. I
Everybody
got
in the
you.
house is in lockdown mode right now.
Yeah.
Horizon House is locked down.
This is the
Oh my
most I've
God.
seen Alex's face in the past like 3 days.
Aw.
Aaron finally tested positive, so now Janae and Aaron for sure
Oh my
have
God.
COVID.
Oh,
So
God,
excited!
come
I
on,
love my
man.
job. It's
Is
great.
this like? Is it like unsighted? Alex, do you see a timer above your head? Check your arm real quick.
You could have stressed
Oh
them
man, yeah.
I know, right?
out.
I like this game. The other thing that I'll mention, one last note on it, in terms of like progression, it's weird because Alex early on realized that there was a parry mechanic that they just don't teach you until later, I
Oh.
guess.
No, they teach it. It's in the intro. I played literally like the tutorial part, and they
I thought
definitely
you
tell you
mentioned
about it.
it.
I do not remember them
You have
saying
to.
that at all.
You know what it is? You have to read.
Oh,
And I know that's
oh.
tough for you. So like,
There's a part in like a flashback, like way later, where it talks about like the parry.
Yeah.
I don't
it
remember
definitely
them ever saying
tells you
anything.
about it.
Maybe
After
It
we get the-
definitely tells you about it.
It's after
for
we get the
sure.
think it
first
does.
crystal is you get the flashback about parrying. Like the first time she teaches you how to do it. The only reason I thought that was the case is because we faced like one of the first not main bosses, but one of the first mini bosses, and literally never did anything because we just perfect parried over and over and over and crit it to death without ever getting hit. It was incredible.
Also, I started a second save file because I wanted to mess with color palettes. That's another part of the mod that you can like recolor your character. And I didn't want to affect our timer in our game, so I just started a second save file. And if you just walk to the elevator in the beginning and put in the code because you know it, it just lets you go. And then at that point, you don't have a sword yet. So then after that, they just like give you a big axe.
Oh, nice.
What?
Nice.
Yo, that game's gonna be so fun to speedrun. I want to watch a frickin' speedrun of that. That's gonna be awesome.
It's so cool.
That's good. That's good. That is it for me, Alex. How about for you? What have you been playing lately?
Sure. A lot of what I've been playing lately is Vampire Survivors, which seems to have become fairly popular recently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I've definitely heard of it, so that goes
Yeah.
well. That sounds about right.
It's
what?
Vampire Survivors.
$3 on Steam.
Bad title. $3 on Steam. Tons of fun.
Okay.
It's basically a reverse bullet hell game where you are
You
only
are hell?
moving. You're only moving and dodging stuff like a bullet hell game, but like all the bullets are you, and there's just like hundreds of monsters that are getting mowed down by all the bullets that are coming out of your body.
It
And it's
also
a-
kind of feels like an auto battler, but you control movement so you can dodge stuff.
Sure, a little bit. Like all your attacks are automatic, and you can like influence them a little bit with positioning to some degree. Like certain types of weapons will fire out of the front of you all the time, so you can like point yourself. Or like certain things will always hit the closest enemy, so you can like position to try to hit certain enemies. But it's really cool. Like it's a roguelike, so you just do runs and try to upgrade your weapons as much as possible. And then they've got like things called evolutions, where if you get like this certain weapon up to level 8, and then also you have this certain passive, then they'll like combine and make like a super powerful version of that weapon. And it's got like good chests, like good like random item chests that have good music and feel nice. I don't know. It
I'm glad
activates
that
the
you specified
serotonin.
Really
item chests
specific.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and it's not too difficult. Like right now it's in early access, so it only goes to 30 minutes for a run. And then
$3.
death comes out and murders you automatically. But there are just like hordes of dudes, and you just like waylays. Like you scale like exponentially, essentially. So it's like really
Yeah.
like power fantasy type stuff.
Hmm.
This
Mhm.
gives me
Like Dragon
I made
Ball
a
Z.
game with zombies in it vibes.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
Oh, I like a made a game with zombies in it. It's a good game.
This game is
Taking me
$3. This is a steal.
It's a really good purchase for $3. Really good.
Yeah, there's something about the gameplay loop that keeps you going back, and also like trying to get all the achievements is pretty fun because they're not that
Yeah.
difficult. They're not like outlandish achievements that
Yeah.
are not achievable.
They're not insane.
I do like my achievements achievable. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got them all, and then Alex was talking about these evolutions for weapons that I'd not heard of. And I went back and looked at the game, and they had added achievements since
Yeah.
I had beaten them all. And I was like, no.
You
I
had, like,
reinstalled the game to get more achievements.
Direct
Right.
sucker.
it's got some passive upgrades you can do outside of runs too. So it's got that element.
Mhm.
You collect gold during the run, and then the gold's used to buy permanent things. And you can like refund the gold at any time and rearrange how you set that up, which is very nice. Try out different things. There's a bunch of characters that you can play as that all start with different weapons, and they have different passive abilities. It's a steal for $3.
Cool.
Also have been playing Nobody Saves the World with Caleb.
Mhm.
Sounds like an easy game, right? You just sit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just chill.
Nobody
Yeah.
saves the world. and
Nobody Saves the World. You
It just
play
blows up.
as nobody. You start as nobody.
Oh, I hate this game already.
This is the
Which-
Guacamelee developers, right?
Yeah.
Is
You're-
it really?
Nobody is like a husk of a person that doesn't really have any abilities. He can slap, and it does very little
Sam.
damage.
Yeah, slap. That's one ability.
And then, like, as you level up that, so like each thing you can be is a class essentially. So like nobody's a class, and as you level him up, he'll unlock other classes that you can transform into. So like you can become a ranger or a guard, and
Or
they'll
a
have
rat.
like a bow
Does
or
the-
a sword. Yeah, and then it gets really weird. You can become like a rat or a turtle or
Wait,
a
wait.
ghost.
But does the name of the game change when you become one of those?
No,
Like, is
because
yeah,
if you
somebody-
save
you
it,
are
you're
you're
back to
still
the main
nobody.
menu. It's like Turtle Saves the World. You're like, oh, cool.
you're still nobody. You can just transform into all these different forms.
Into somebody.
Mhm.
Wait, I thought nobody was a class though.
He is the
It's,
starting class.
it's
There's
both.
like a tree of classes in the upgrade menu, and it starts at the bottom where you're nobody. And then it like breaks out
So
from
it's-
there, and you have to
it's
level
not
up
really
each
a
class
class.
to like unlock other classes.
It's the
You can be a
base
mermaid.
Class. It's you, the base
It's-
class.
You can be a
But
slug.
okay, so nobody. Let me get this right. Nobody is both a person and a class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay, all right, there we go. Got it.
And
I'm
so
following.
there's that. There's that. How you level them up is pretty cool because it's like kind of grindy, but like in a fun way, because it gives you a bunch of unique quests for each class to complete, and all the quests are like really simple. Like you have to do this much damage with this ability, or like you have to hit these people with a certain type of damage type, or achieve, extending the length of this ability this long to unlock the class, and then it gives you a bunch of experience for that little quest, and then it unlocks more of those as you progress through the game. And so you're constantly, as you're playing, it's just on a hotkey. You can like slide out the quest menu from the side of the screen so you can see what you're trying to do as you play regular stuff in the game. And like the game itself is set up kind of like Zelda. There's like a bunch of dungeons around the map that you have to go complete and obtain like the piece of this gem or whatever, which is going to be like the ultimate thing that solves the issue in the kingdom. And then later on top of that, they have like kind of like Full Metal Furies, where they have the specific characters have to hit the enemies before they can take damage. It's like that, except for damage types. So you have to like swap between your different classes to make sure you're using blunt damage to hit this enemy before they'll take damage, or like swap to sharp damage.
There's only 4 damage types, so it's not like crazy complicated.
And then at some point, you unlock the ability to take secondary abilities from other classes and slot them on different classes. And at that point, it just starts getting crazy, where you're making like weird builds, where you're like a slug that can like instantaneously poison people because you've got multiple poison passives from different classes, and like an ability that like just spams your poison across everybody, or like, you're a horse that when you press the B button, you suddenly take out a bow and arrow and shoot it rapidly at people. It's wild and a lot of fun.
Yeah. I almost got immediately overwhelmed when it mentioned that we could start trading passives and abilities around between the classes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if
There's
the
a lot.
tree is as big as you say it is, that could be a lot of combinations of stuff.
There's a lot of classes, and it gives you like a quick change wheel. Where
Yep.
you can swap between like 8 different classes. There's more than that. So it gets very complicated when you got to try to get somebody new. You got to go to the menu and mess around and stuff. It also has one thing that kind of annoys me is you have to go into the menu to turn in all of your completed quests.
Yeah.
Which slows the pace down. I get why they did it, because they want to like show you when you unlock a new character or new abilities.
especially for co-op,
slows it down.
because when you do that, it pauses for both players.
Right.
So
But the game is a blast. And also,
Is it
what's up?
I was just gonna ask, is it like Full Metal Furies where it's kind of like isometric, action-y kind of thing?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's
very
got that-
action RPG, or beat 'em up maybe almost, but with
Okay.
ranged attacks also and abilities also.
Sure. Okay.
action RPG. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And the main 4 dungeons, I think there's 4 that are main dungeons, maybe 5. They turn off the quest progression, like quest progression, and like force you to actually try to beat the dungeon using like your favorite classes and their good
Yeah.
abilities to get past challenges and stuff.
so you're not just
It's kinda
playing
neat,
the
actually.
ghost to level the character. You're actually using like your good stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and there's like more challenging content in there because of that.
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's
It's a lot
pretty
of
sick.
fun.
It's on Game Pass, so
Yeah.
check it out if you have Game Pass. And then the last thing I played is I just realized that they put out a Celeste Classic 2 like sometime last year for the 3rd anniversary of Celeste. It's pretty sick. You don't play as Madeline. You play as Lanny, I think the name of the character is. But they have a grappling hook instead of a dash, and the grappling hook shoots directly out in front of you and attaches to most walls. There are walls that it can't attach to, and then like pulls you towards it. And it sounds very simple, but you start doing like crazy like grapple dashes and stuff as you get through that game, where you're like pulling a little bit and then like jumping out of the grapple pull and then like re-grappling something else in a different direction. It's very fun. It took me like an hour to get through the first time I did it when I was trying to get all the strawberries I saw. And then I went back and played it again, knowing how all the movement worked and being better after completing the challenges towards the end. And it took me 13 minutes. So
Dang.
Wait, so you're telling me that you actually got good?
yeah,
Okay, cool.
It
It's
feel-
rare.
feels-
It's rare for Alex.
Yeah.
but-
it's very much like
Ouch.
Celeste in that way, because you get real good at Celeste by the end of Celeste. And then you go back to the beginning of Celeste, and you're like, how did I even struggle with this part before? Like, this is
Yeah.
a cakewalk.
Yep.
It's the same thing in this game. It's very cool. It's worth checking out. It's free on some itch.io site. We're gonna put a link.
Can you play it with controller? Because I was playing with
Yes.
the keyboard and it feels not great.
You can play it with a
Okay,
controller.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'll have to try
It's,
that.
It's like AX and the thumbstick.
Okay.
No D-pad controls. Which I was kind of sad about, but whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's move on to Owen.
Hey.
Owen. What photography-based games have you been playing lately?
Oh man, so I found this photography-based game called Paparazzi.
Uh-huh.
And what you do is you take pictures of puppies. And that's it.
And let me guess, game of the year?
I mean,
2022?
honestly, so far, it's the only game that I've played this year, but it is also my game of the year. It is absolutely fantastic because it delivers on the one thing that you want to do, which is take pictures of cute dogs. And you can dress up the cute dogs. You can, like, pet the cute dogs, which is very important. You can pet the dogs. You can play fetch with them. You can, like, throw them a little
Okay,
tennis ball or
wait a second.
frisbee. Yeah.
Wait, let me pause you for 1 second. Let me just jump back because we didn't mention this, but for some reason they built in the mechanic that you can pet dogs in Unsighted. I don't know
Yeah.
why that's in the game.
There's a
Oh,
Twitter
man.
account called Can You Pet the Dog? And it just tweets
Mhm.
about games where you can pet the dog.
Okay,
A lot of
all right.
games have had to go back and let you pet the dog.
I completely
Yeah.
forgot about that, but the dog stuff in Unsighted is surprisingly fleshed out to the point that I'm like, why did they do this?
What does that mean?
Is
It's
it doggone
the
good?
dog, it follows you, it attacks enemies, and it's really strong. You can
Wow.
feed it.
You have to feed it. You have to play
if you
with
don't-
it.
Yeah.
You pet it, and then you let it sleep so that it can regain its abilities to attack other. And when you make it sleep, you literally lose 3 hours on your timer.
Oh my
Wild.
god.
Yeah.
3 hours.
Wow.
3
Also-
hours.
The first dog you find is like a Shiba Inu, and we named it Sven, and it's very cute.
It's very
Aw.
vicious. Also, it jumps
course you
over
did.
freaking walls and decimates enemies.
So what happens when it dies?
Well, it doesn't.
will-
you,
it will
you
not.
take it to the. Yeah, it's a real
Oh,
dog.
okay.
It's not
I
like
did
an
read
automaton.
that if you don't
Oh.
do what it wants, like feed it and let it sleep and stuff like that, it'll stop liking you and it'll go back to the pet shop. It'll leave you.
Okay,
Wow.
sorry, Owen. I didn't mean to distract from
Hey, no, it's okay.
paparazzi.
Yeah, so and also in paparazzi you have different lenses for your camera. I should state you are a camera. Like your body
Mhm.
is camera. You are a camera with
Oh.
limbs.
Oh,
That's
So you
terrifying.
can I guess you just like take out your eye and put in a new eye when you switch lenses. I don't know how that works.
And the dogs are okay with a walking camera petting them.
Yeah,
That's
they
just
love
fine.
it.
They're
Yeah.
dogs.
When you swap
Yeah.
lenses, you go blind temporarily.
No, it just instantaneously happens. And then there's also different, as they call it, different films. It's basically just different filters on top of it, so you can have like black and white artsy photos, or sepia tone, or whatever that you're trying to go for. I quite loved taking pictures of the dogs that were on sailboats in black and white, and I was talking about how there's like an entire murder mystery happening between these dogs, and they like killed their husband and threw them off the sailboat. It was a good time. 10 out of 10. I really loved this
What?
game. It was just a good time.
What?
Sometimes you gotta, have like an affair with the Shiba Inu on the other sailboat and like kill your husband and throw him off the boat. Like it happens.
We've all been there.
This already sounds better than Pokemon Snap.
Yeah. Well, so
Gosh.
if you think Pokemon
Gosh.
Snap, but you can actually walk around rather than be on rails, you're not far off of what this game is.
Wait, is
Uh,
Pokemon Snap an on-rail shooter because you're taking photos?
Basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
On-rail
Um,
shooter.
I also really appreciated the fact of that there is also platforming bits, because you would platform around the map to get these golden bones, and then you would use said golden bones to unlock new film and new lenses and stuff like that, and then you would use those to do the challenges, because every map had a bunch of challenges of like take a picture of this and take a picture of that, and like take a picture of a dog doing a backflip. So then you'd have to like get a dog to do a backflip and then take a picture of it. So that was like, there were some fun challenges there, and it was a good time, and I really appreciated it, and it was very cheap, and I suggest everybody go find it on Steam sale and play it, because it's good. The lampposts are dogs, which I thought was very clever. Like, everything is dog. It's just good. It knew what it wanted to do, and it did it well. So I played that. Been playing a little bit of Witcher 3. Finally beat like the main game, and I'm now on the first DLC, the Heart of Stone.
Heart of Stone.
Yeah.
Hey,
How many
okay.
DLCs are there? Wait, do you say how many DLCs or how many DLC?
How many DLs? C.
Okay, all right. Yeah, how many DLC?
Yeah, there are two.
No.
There's
Wasn't
Heart of
that
Stone.
funny, Alex?
He's losing it. There's Heart of Stone, and there
That's
was
so
Blood
Blood
and
and
Wine.
Wine.
Yeah.
Blood and Wine. Okay.
So I'm currently on Heart of Stone, so I'm gonna finish that up. But so far, base game, I would say, pretty solid. I liked it. I played a lot of it, and so definitely not on Aaron's list of short games not worth $60.
That's for
That
certain.
game is super short.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent how many hours currently in this game, and I bought it for $5.
That's on the how in the world is this only worth $60?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been playing a
62
good amount
hours.
of Witcher
Phew.
also. Finally, I just got to Novigrad and
Nice.
met Triss. She,
Hey, Triss.
I think, is a lot better in the second game. I think she's a lot more interesting in the second game. She seems kind of boring in the third
That's
game.
fair.
Maybe only
Seems-
so far. Maybe she'll get better.
Hmm.
But I mean, she's still better than Yen because she's not insane. But
there's some big Triss stuff that happens in 3, so
Yeah.
okay,
we'll see.
I
See what you think.
really liked Triss from the show versus the game.
Hmm.
I thought show Triss was a lot better, but I mean, if game Triss is your thing, I guess game Triss is your thing.
she's great in the second game. She's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I quite enjoyed it, and I got an ending that I don't know if there's multiple endings, but I liked it. Everyone got to be where I wanted them to be, and fuck Porcupine Boy. Whatever the fuck his name is.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, you
Cool,
know,
man.
the
Thanks for your
the
insight.
main evil guy from
Don't
Nilfgaard.
hurt.
The evil guy from Nilfgaard, Ciri's dad. Fuck
Yeah, we
him.
heard
lot
you
of-
Porcupine
awful.
guy. Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
That's
he
his
used to be a
name.
porcupine, and he probably should have stayed one.
I think you get a lot of pines in your pork.
Probably. And then I've also been playing this game called Back for Blood.
Never heard of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's been a good time. I've been trying veteran mode.
Veteran mode,
Because-
huh?
Veteran
Or
mode?
not veteran, I'm sorry, Nightmare.
Nightmare mode.
Nightmare.
Yeah, I've got Act 1 done on Nightmare. Playing with a bunch of
Nice.
randoms online, and
I was about to say, by yourself? Like, you just soloing this?
Just with a bunch of random people online. I jump into a lobby, get like a map or two done, lose, go to a different lobby that's got a different couple maps, win there, lose elsewhere, just kind of keep doing that until eventually it all overlapped. I was doing it so that way I would have some idea of like what we would do when the 4 people on this podcast try Nightmare, because we tried it last weekend and I don't think that we did great.
Wait, I'm getting the sense
we did
that
awful.
yeah, you guys did
We didn't
awful,
do
and
awful.
and
We
you
didn't even
Wait,
hit the
wait,
first
wait.
checkpoint.
Yeah, we hit no
But you,
checkpoints.
Sure.
you guys did awful, but you played with randoms online and made it through Act 1. I feel like
Yeah.
you are really carrying the team, but no one else is participating when you're playing with our group.
No, there's a lot of participation happening. I think that our group, there was a lot of me triggering every horde known to man.
No.
No.
And now I've played the maps enough that I know where all of the fucking sleepers spawn on every map. So I know not to walk into random ass rooms. And
If only you let the person who can see sleepers
See
through
through
walls
walls.
go first.
That's dumb, Caleb. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
That's dumb.
Hey,
It's
come
just-
on, Caleb. We've done this experiment. It's like, watch out, there's a sleeper in that room, and Owen gets grabbed by a sleeper. It's like, well, I don't know. I don't know what else I could have done.
Are people like on voice comms in that game with randoms? Are
Yeah.
they not like super toxic all the time?
I mean, some people are extremely toxic.
It feels
and
like in
some,
that game it'd be very, very easy to like mess something small up, and they would just be all over you.
some
Sure.
some people are really toxic. Some people are like really chill, and they're just like, yeah, like, and some people are just also like just ready to be toxic. Like there was just
Oh, yeah.
one person that in the first map he triggered 2 sleepers and birds. And so when we finally managed to get to the second map, which was a struggle because this person kept triggering everything, and we were like, God damn it. I was just like, hey, would you let anyone else go first so you don't trigger every single sleeper in the tunnels? And he was like, fuck you, man. I'm amazing at this game. You're shit. And I was like, okay, kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay,
Love it.
fine. Like, I'm just saying, like, you're literally the one that's caused all of the problems for our team thus far. Like, I'm not trying to be mean about it. I was just like, can you just please let anyone else go first? Like, just please. So that way we can actually get through this. And, yeah, I was like, all right, well, I guess some people are toxic and just ready to be toxic. And I was like, rip.
Randos online. I feel like that's just what you get almost
Yeah.
no matter what you play anymore.
That's true.
But
Seems
you
like
know,
a game. Randoms
yeah, I was gonna
online.
say it seems like a game. There's I had one group that I really loved. I played with them for 3 hours, and for the 3 hours, 2 of them were talking about Fallout. That's all they were talking about. For
No
3
wonder
straight...
you
Was it-
loved them.
Was it
Oh, no,
76?
they're like,
I took my
they're like
headphones
Fallout
off
76 is the best
No,
game ever made.
because they
You
were
like,
talking
"God,
about
this is my
Fallout
friend
3
group."
and Fallout 4 and Fallout New Vegas, and they were talking about all of the mods that they did for Fallout 3 and how like this one dude, because he lives in Puerto Rico or something, couldn't mod Fallout 4 for some reason. And I was like, that seems weird, but whatever. But they just talked about it ad nauseum. And so like I would be sitting there with this other person, me and this other person are not communicating, and we're like ready, and we're just like kind of like spamming the ready button at the door because we're like, hey, we're ready to like trigger the horde or start the thing or like, you know, whatever we have to do. And these 2 guys were just standing there just talking about Fallout. And I was like, can we please continue playing this game? Because I'm trying to play this rather than Fallout.
Did they end their conversation with Fallout 76 was horrible at the beginning, but now it's actually really good.
No, I mentioned Fallout 76 just to see if they would like bite, and they're like, Fallout 76 sucks because I can't mod the shit out of it. You can mod all the
Also
good
true.
stuff from 76 into 4. And I was like, okay, wait, didn't you say you couldn't mod Fallout 4? And he was like, yeah, but that's only because I live in Puerto Rico, duh. And I was like, okay.
You should have known that.
I'm also very
Sure.
confused about this statement. Like, what about living in Puerto Rico prevents you from modding
I don't know.
a Fallout
They
game?
filter the mods out of the internet
He
on a national
modded-
scale.
This
Yeah,
kid apparently
no
modded
modding.
the
What do you
shit
mean on
out of Fallout
It's like
3.
it's like China. It's like the Chinese internet.
Mhm.
yeah.
How they don't let you on Facebook and stuff like that. But in Puerto
Like,
Rico,
I
it's
would
just
get
mod
that.
sites.
It's
I would get
mods.
that if it was like Cuba, but Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States.
I didn't get it. And
No,
like I asked,
they're
I
only a
was like,
territory. They're not a state, so they don't get access to mods.
Okay, the way
Only
you're
states
mod
get
the way you're
mod
like,
access.
You guys aren't to the level. You need to be a full-fledged state, or you're not getting it. Sorry.
the way you're talking about this, Alex, it sounds as if this is super like serious and like this is like I can't tell if you're joking or not. Is what I'm trying to say. So like, is this a joke?
It is a joke.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, you know, it's otherwise I would say that I'm getting better at it. It's a good game. I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing it with our group, with these people.
But that's Fallout?
Jake
Yeah,
is no
Fallout.
fucking Back for Blood.
We love Fallout
Jake
76
has
so
done like
much.
extensive ass research on card builds that I am impressed with. Like every time I open up Discord, there's just like another post from Jake that's just being like, "Okay, guys, if we get all of these cards and then some of these cards and then this card, this is going to be like the optimum build that you can just like one shot things." And I was like, "We have
Yeah.
that. It's Caleb."
I don't
already.
think you understand how bad we did.
Today,
Are you
I think we did
min-maxing
that
everything?
bad.
today
I
when an
just tried to
algorithm got
survive
posted to
3
the
maps
group,
in a row.
I was like, okay, we're going too far. When an algorithm got posted to the group for like a damage calculation, I was like, this is too much. This is Back for Blood, guys.
Mixed
Was it like-
signals? It was important.
It was important.
Was it giving you like flashbacks, Alex, to when we put together a spreadsheet for our Dota team composition based on drafts for the other team?
that was good.
That was good.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
no,
cool.
this is bad.
No.
Yeah, that was cool and sexy. This is lame and dumb.
And
Oh,
I
man.
think to Jake's point is like, you know, he's doing everything that he can, and I was doing everything that I can, so that way we succeed the next time we try this. I would just say that, like, when you only have 1 or 2 cards, those cards actually, I feel like, don't exactly matter yet, because you don't have a deck. You don't have, like, your build. When we get to, like, later in the act, everything that Jake is doing is going to pay off, and we're going to have like a fucking cakewalk through this second half of the act. But I feel like we just have to like not let me go first for the first part of that act, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, I get why you say this formula really isn't that sexy, Alex. It's kind of boring, you know.
It's pretty boring.
Base damage times 1 plus cat A times 1 plus cat B times 1 plus cat C is greater than or
It's
equal
got
to
cats
times.
in it though, so that's
It
a
does.
positive.
It does. Jake is on a
Honestly-
cat thing.
It looks
Right now.
catastrophic.
It's a catastrophe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
This
don't-
is terrible. The podcast is over now, right?
All right, Caleb, let's move on. Caleb.
Oh, we're not even to me yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've been playing a bunch of the games we already talked about: Witcher 3, Vampire Survivors, Nobody Saves the World. Been playing some Surgeon Simulator 2. Picked that up with a group of 4. If you don't know what Surgeon Simulator is, it is a wacky game where you murder your patient over and over, trying to perform some sort of surgery on them.
You are not
Sometimes.
simulating surgery at all.
You
Not
saved them,
really.
probably.
Sometimes the surgery is ripping off their arm and putting on an entirely new arm.
That's what
Yeah.
surgery's
Legit.
like sometimes.
Yeah.
A new
I do think it's
flesh
really
arm,
funny.
a real arm.
I do think it's really funny that it's like you got to do a heart transplant. It's like, okay, time to get these ribs out of here. These lungs can go. All these
Yeah.
guts, get all
You're
that out
just
of there.
chucking it.
You rip out literally all of their internal organs, and then you drop in the new heart, and it's like, good
It's
job,
like,
you
cool.
did it. You saved
Seal them
it.
back up. That's a job well done.
So
How do
weird.
they really do heart transplants? Is it not like that?
Well,
I don't know.
none of us can attest to that. I don't know. None
Exactly.
of us have ever. They absolutely could do it that way.
It says Surgeon Simulator, right? I assume it's accurate.
You'd think so.
Like, how many surgeons did they actually, talk
Consult.
to prior to consult prior to making this game?
Seems like 0, but that's just a guess.
This is
But
fun.
it's been pretty fun. It's wild. The levels require you to like find what you need to replace for the person. So you have to go unlock doors that are currently locked to you and figure out how to like get around them and climb through vents and stuff to get where you need to be.
And for some reason, this hospital's like, to get through this set of door, you gotta put an arm in this bin.
Yeah.
You have to pay me an arm to get through this door.
Basically,
you're like, weird.
You got to rip the guy's arm off. Hope he doesn't bleed out by the time you get through the door with a new arm.
So that you can get to the dispenser of the hearts. It's
So
also
they-
got like a campaign with like a story and voice acting, and like
Yeah.
there seems to be like multiple factions that are moving against each other, and there's like a shadow organization.
It's weird.
Does this one have VR in it? And are you playing it in VR?
We are not playing it in VR. I don't know if it has VR.
Yeah, I don't know if it does or not. I think Surgeon Simulator VR is its own thing.
I think
okay.
so.
Yeah, Steam page does not say VR support, but it is co-op, unlike the
Yeah.
first game.
Yeah, it's
co-op.
4-player. So you can,
it sounds
you can
really
really
fun.
get in each
That
other's
seems
way.
very chaotic.
Yes, quite. Yeah,
be
when
fair-
you're like trying to slowly bonesaw off their leg and somebody just runs up and just rips it off and heads on. It's like, oh,
What are the controls like? Because I kind of vaguely remember Surgeon Simulator being kind of atrocious.
yeah, it's much like the first game. You have one arm that's sticking out like this, right?
Yeah.
And you click to grab, and then you can like right click and rotate. That'll like rotate your hand around, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
You can hold shift to move your arm.
I mean, what else
Like
does
back
a
and
surgeon
forth.
need in
Oh,
surgery?
yeah.
can you? I didn't even know that part.
yeah, and
Up,
in and out.
down, rotate.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah,
Nothing
that's-
else.
Those are pretty much all the controls.
It's worth mentioning if you're easily motion sick. It seems like this game kind of triggers that a bit.
Yeah.
Mm.
You bob a lot, and like your arm is never steady, so it doesn't have like a fixed like tracking position for you to focus on. And
hmm
it did end up making Sam kind of sick when we were playing it. So
9 out of 10 surgeons wouldn't recommend.
Absolutely. The other game I've been playing a bunch of is this game called Warm Snow.
Is that when
It
you
is,
pee in the snow?
Nah,
that's
it's,
exactly what I
it's
asked
not
when they
yellow
told me about this
snow,
game.
It's warm snow.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what happens when you pee in the snow.
So
Warms it
so the story reason for it is that it's a bunch of white lotus petals. So they're not actually snow, so they're not cold, but
Gotcha.
they look like snow.
It's false advertising.
But it is a Chinese game that recently came out on Steam with a translation. I will say about 2/3 of the game is translated. There's a
That's-
lot of voice lines that are not,
It's
and
most,
even
though.
a couple dialogue boxes that are
So
not.
weird.
Okay.
That's
So
a
it's got a little
strange
work
decision.
to go there. But essentially, it is a very similar game to Hades. It is a action RPG roguelike. And it is a blast. The main mechanics are hack and slashing around, and then you have a bunch of, I think like 7 of them, swords that like hover in the air behind you. They're called flying swords, and you can shoot them into enemies.
Good name. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Good name. But
Good name.
you can shoot them into enemies like as a ranged attack. And if you get like multiple embedded in them, they'll all like bust out and do a whole bunch of damage and stuff.
It's these swords that fly. They're called flying swords.
Good, right? Also, when you start the round, you pick an archetype, basically, that can completely change the way the flying swords work or the way your melee works. And it adds a lot to replayability. Like
Can you
new
do the
runs and
sword's
stuff.
legs and then they're walking swords?
I haven't found any walking swords one.
Propellers and their swimming swords.
But there's one where it turns the sword into a giant laser, and one
And
where
it's
it turns
laser
it into a
sword.
machine gun. Exactly. Pretty good.
Wild.
But game is a blast, despite its lack of translation in some areas.
Who needs story? You just need gameplay mechanics. That's it.
If you
All that
like
matters.
Hades at all, you should definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Maybe once they translate all of it.
It's got most of the bits, but there's definitely some story I'm missing.
There's never any like anything that stops you from understanding how to progress or how to upgrade something, right? It's not.
There is one thing.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
That
just
is-
gonna wait, man. Just
No,
gonna wait
there's
a
one
little
thing.
bit.
It's really simple. It's an upgrade you can get. That way, when you recycle an item you don't want to pick up, Normally, it gives you randomly either extra health or extra damage. And there's an upgrade where you can choose, and the dialogue box is all in Chinese. So you don't know what you're picking until you've figured out which word means health and which one means damage.
That's bad.
But that's really it.
It's not great.
That's only an upgrade way up in the tree, in the roguelite tree.
Cool. Let's talk about a few things in Games World because we haven't been doing that already. But we all played, or like multiples of us played a few games here that we should probably at least just mention, if not go into depth on. Right
Ready
off the
for
top,
this section?
Yeah, I'm buckled. Ready or not?
He was queuing you up.
Ready or not? Ready or not?
Alright.
Chad, ready or not?
Yeah, so Ready or Not is a SWAT style shooter. It's very, very realistic. Well,
Nah, I mean, it's
Very, very
it's not
realistic.
Arma.
it's Milsimi, and you're a team of 5 SWAT members going in to save hostages, take down perps, basically arrest literally everybody in the area, and
Seems like
report it back.
Yeah, I mean, it's very accurate.
The reason I hesitated once I said it's very realistic is because there's one time in particular that I really just like vividly remember where Aaron and I both were about to throw a stun into a room, and this dude like bunny hops around the corner and one taps 3 people in a row, and just like
Yeah.
we're all just on the ground dead now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that was kind of our fault because I wasn't communicating well enough. You opened the door like a tiny amount, and there was no way that stun grenade was going through. And I was like, more, I need more, I need more, I need more. And you're like, what do you mean you see more? Okay, throw the grenade. I'm like, no, I need more. And then it went off, and it was bad. It was just,
yeah. So you gotta take the stuff slow. So if you have a Call of Duty mentality or like a Titanfall mentality while you go into this, you're probably
dead.
gonna die.
You're
You
so dead.
gotta like use the little camera thing to throw it under the door and look in and see what's going on, and then you gotta like pretty much do countdowns to opening doors and stuff like that to make sure that people have like their stuns thrown, and or just shooting the guy on the other side with stuns, of course, because we don't want to kill the people. I think what we were trying to do was more of a passive approach rather than just
like,
killing everybody.
The game penalizes you for using lethal force when you're not
Right.
when it's not called for.
Mhm.
So you're trying to arrest people without murdering them.
Yeah.
But also
Unlike
they
the
can
real police.
like pull weapons on you so fast. It's ridiculous. The AI is like crazy. So like you just have to get lucky and be like, "Hey, don't pull a weapon on me. You better get on your knees, put your hands up."
yeah. You just constantly mash F. Get on the ground. Like
Yeah.
no matter where you're at on the entire map, you start the map, everybody just instantly starts yelling, "Get on the ground! You put your hands up!" Like no.
Yeah, and then Frank goes, "Well, everybody shut up."
Yeah, Frank,
Hey,
the
I'm with Frank on
Milsim
that
player,
one.
he's like, "All right, guys. So here's what we need to do. CQB, we're gonna go in tactically. First guy, you're gonna be double tapping the left-hand shoulder. First guy's gonna go down to the right. Second guy, take a
Stagger
look
down
to
the
left.
hall.
Stagger, stagger, stagger." I'm like, this is way too
Yeah.
much.
Frank
30
knows
minutes in
actually
and out.
like real life placement of people as they like breach and clear a building. So he's like trying to explain to us how we need to walk down hallways and stuff. I'm like, oh my goodness.
And we're
It
like,
was like,
"Let's go
yeah."
fast. We're going to the room.
So hold
Yeah.
W key and tase people. Got it. All right.
W key, correct. That's the strat. Game's cool. Early access right now. I don't know what their plan is. I'm sure it's going to be like a long development cycle.
Yeah, they'll have a campaign at some point. And also I think they're doing some competitive stuff.
For the lack of killing people in that game, I felt like the weapons actually performed pretty nicely.
Mm-hmm.
It felt really good. The pacing of your person when you're walking, I don't think it's too slow. There is some games where it's like you have that milsim feeling, and then you're just like, you're just a turtle walking. But this one's pretty fun. Everything seems it flows pretty nicely. I think the hard AI. It'd be interesting if they add. I wasn't the person who was creating the games. Caleb, you probably have to speak on this, but it'd be interesting if they add like difficulty levels to make it even harder.
There are difficulty levels, yeah.
Okay,
Wait, what did we
the
play
difficulty
on?
levels are associated with different mission types, though, currently.
got it.
Oh.
Right.
So, like,
think-
a hostage level is like a very hard level.
Right.
We need to play a very hard level. It's important.
Yeah,
I need
Did we
to try
not
this
do a
difficulty.
very hard level at all?
No, we
only did is it normal? I think it's only normal we did.
Yeah, normal.
Oh,
There's
we
like
gotta
hard,
we
very
gotta
hard,
check
and
that out.
a third harder difficulty, I think.
Nice.
Not to squash people's enthusiasm for this game, but it did lose its publisher right before the new year.
Oh,
No.
really?
I don't know how much that's gonna put a damper on its release trajectory, but
Lost its publisher.
yeah. So the team posted a thing like, "Yeah, dude, we'll do a school shooting level," and the publisher was like,
Oh.
Here's the thing.
Oh.
No,
I see.
no, not with us." So they dropped them.
Man.
Oh, wow.
I don't.
What? Are you saying
Yeah.
that making a game nowadays about being the military police might not be a good idea? That sounds weird.
It does seem like
I
a
feel
questionable
like-
choice right now, but
I don't know. I mean, they
I
brutal.
mean,
I don't
That
know
was a
how we
dumb
got that
thing to
route,
say.
but
that was a very dumb thing to say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
also, what do we know if like? I mean, I know you probably glanced at an article, but like maybe research this later. Do we know if the community wanted a school shooting one, and that's why
Like
they
that
said
was. I mean, they could have just said active shooter scenario, which could be something that they could do. But the fact that they worded it in the way that they did,
Mm.
because I mean, active shooter scenario could be any number of things. It doesn't have to be
Right.
specifically at. It could be
no
Okay.
Russian.
I have a little more context. In response to a question on Reddit about whether the game, a first-person shooter, would have a school shooting level, a developer said in a now-deleted tweet, "You better believe it's gonna."
no.
Oh.
Okay.
So,
Was that developer
No.
fired?
Oh no.
You
Interesting.
better believe it's gonna.
yeah.
Yikes! Yikes.
Something else worth mentioning about this game. It's $40, right? There's a supporter edition that is $115.
That's too much. That's too much money.
Do
I
I
was
get
gonna
anything
say that right
interesting
now.
for $115,
No, you do
or am I
not.
just funding school shooting levels?
You're funding the developers, and that is it.
I was
So
about to,
yeah,
I was about to
wouldn't
say.
wanna
I
do
wonder
that.
if that package gets you that level.
Mm.
Just
I mean,
hush
it
hush.
sounds
It's,
like
though.
they
it's an
didn't even-
exclusive release.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's not like built. It was just like a conceptual down
Yeah,
the
for
road
sure.
thing.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, they,
But I
they
mean,
didn't
they
need to
do
add
need
that
the
to the
money
game
now that
for
they
it.
don't have a publisher.
Interesting. Well,
Hmm.
we'll see, I guess, if anything happens with it.
Yeah.
Early access right now. I mean, if you really want to go, you can go spend $40 and try this game out. It's a lot for an early access game, but it was fun. At least a
It's
couple
got
levels
some
we
nice
tried.
feedback.
It's
So
got
I,
a lot of
mean,
content.
I can
so-
see if they reconcile that, another publisher maybe picking them up.
Mhm.
They could also self-publish.
True.
You know, indie games are definitely more doable, and it sounds like the game's in a pretty solid place.
Yeah.
It is pretty good.
They-
shape already.
They did say on Twitter that they and Team 17 mutually agreed that Team 17 will no longer publish Ready or Not. And they said
Uh-huh.
we are confident that this is the right path for the future of Ready or Not, and we thank Team 17 for their partnership and wish them great success with
I
their
wonder if that
spectrum
means
of
we're
games.
actually going to see a map then.
Oh god.
With-
Can we not?
Man, who knows? I mean, who knows
I
with a
would
game
love
like
not.
that? Let's move on. We have a couple of games to talk about in here. Rainbow Six Extraction is a game that was released recently
Mhm.
under its new title. Used to be called Rainbow Six Quarantine. Now it's Rainbow Six Extraction.
I wonder why they changed it.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, weird.
quarantine really. I haven't
I
heard
feel
that
like that's a
word.
really
reason, I
hot
think.
topic right now, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like you
Yeah.
get a lot of buzz.
Yeah, it's weird. Alex, tell me about Rainbow Six Extraction.
Sure.
Because I tried to play it and my game froze like 5 times, so I can't play it right now.
Hmm.
Bad times.
yeah, that's unfortunate. Me, Chad, and Caleb have actually played like a ton of this game so far.
Yeah.
It is a 3-player co-op
Whatever,
PvE
man.
game.
So dumb.
I don't know why
Perfect
they chose
number
3.
of players.
There's really no reason, it seems.
Yeah, there's nothing in particular. Maybe they thought the maps weren't quite big enough for 4, but also I don't really think that's the case.
Yeah. I don't think so.
But yeah, it's got a couple of unique things that other games like it don't have. It goes for a more tactical approach. I guess how you would describe GTFO, where you're like trying to clear rooms without alerting things. It's got stealth approaches. All the mechanics are ripped straight from Rainbow Six Siege. Like it is built on the same engine. It plays the same. It has the operators from the game in it. So if you like playing that, but don't like getting randomly shot by somebody that's really good at the game through a crack in a wall and just not playing for like 15 minutes, and you want to fight like a parasite instead, then this is pretty cool. All the operators have unique abilities that they bring into the map. There's like 18 of them in the game right now, which is kind of cool because I feel like a lot of times when PvE games launch, they have like a handful of classes.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it gets stale. And to encourage you to play a bunch of those different characters, there is a system in place where if you take damage, it's like permanent health damage. And if you get like a med kit during the map, it gives you temporary health. And that slowly ticks down. And then at the end of the match, whatever value your permanent health is at is what that character is at until you let them rest and heal up.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go play, like if they drop below 50% health, you can't play them. They're considered injured and you have to play somebody else. And then like completing objectives and stuff like that will give you health points to distribute back to your injured operators. And then to go even farther with that, if you end up dying in a map, the stasis foam automatically deploys on your body and encases you, and you are considered MIA. And either one of your teammates has to pick up your body and extract you, or if you all die, or if they're not able to extract you, then you have to run a mission on the same map to save that operator to get them back. So that's
Super
pretty
cool
cool.
mechanics.
Yeah. But
I did-
gameplay-wise, plays just like Siege, which is good. The gameplay there is solid,
You lean a
but
lot.
it's nothing new. In
You're
that
just
department, I
constantly
suppose.
tilted and shooting people.
Yeah.
I like being constantly tilted.
Objectives are pretty
like
varied.
angry or
Yeah.
I do want them to add more objectives because you see a lot of the same ones over and over again.
Yeah,
But also,
it gets repetitive pretty fast.
It hasn't like felt too bad yet. Even though you're running the same stuff a bunch of times, it still feels a little bit different every time.
Well, we have been slowly ramping up in difficulty so that we fight like harder monsters
Yeah.
over time. So it has made the objectives feel more dangerous and
It
a little
all-
different.
it also seems I think we got to play more, but from what I saw when we were ramping up the difficulty, the objectives were changing slightly.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think off the top of my head like which objective I saw new in severe that wasn't in like cautious, but cautious, is same old objectives. I don't know if you already touched on with the mechanics. When we lose all of our guys, when you go to extract the missing agent, you just pick up one person and put it into the pod, and it gives us all three of our characters back.
It's a little odd.
Well,
You can't tell who they are because they're covered in foam, but
I
Yeah,
wish they had a
it's-
little more attention to detail with stuff like that.
It's
Yeah.
Which is
your
weird.
character, but like for you, it's your character, but it's covered in foam, and it's like on the mission it says your character for
Mhm.
each player. But then once you do it, it's just like all three are saved.
It's weird that they didn't spend time, like attention to detail there when they clearly built out. So, like, I haven't played but like 5 minutes of the tutorial, but the explanation video at the very beginning where they're like, all right, here's what's going down. So we're React. We're part of this smaller group of Rainbow Six, and we're going in to rescue people from this stuff. And also we've set up all these walls with airlocks in between places. And if you go down, you have this foam that goes over your body. I'm like, first of all, how have we not defeated whatever this stuff is at this point? We have all this stuff in place. Why? What? And they just have like an explanation for everything, it seems. Like right out the gate. Here's why this exists. Here's its purpose. Here's
There's
Wow.
actually like a ton of lore that you unlock as you play.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly
Weird.
fleshed out.
weird.
Does it explain how they don't do the objectives while they're building out the large facilities that we walk through?
no,
Yeah,
see,
I don't
that's what
know
I was
about
always
that.
wondering.
Yeah.
They like go
They-
in and create these giant facilities, but
They
they
drop
don't
them
do
from-
all the work that we later go in and do
They drop them from
in
the
those
sky.
facilities.
They're like giant containers on airlifts, and they drop and they hit the ground, and they've created the facility.
A couple other gameplay elements. There's these things called nests that'll spawn enemies. They're kind of dormant when you start, but if you alert enemies near them, they'll go into like aggravated mode and start spitting out enemies. And you can destroy those. Also, when they're mad, they create this stuff called sprawl, which is like this black goo that just goes across the ground and actually slows down your character when you walk through it. You can like melee it or shoot it to like get it off the ground, but that like wastes resources and is slow. So
This
there's
game
that.
This game is like a sequel for Venom, right? Like this is just inevitably what that becomes.
Maybe. I don't know. It's a ton of fun though. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I've been having a blast. The characters
Seems
feel
cool.
pretty unique. And a lot of the abilities, they carry straight over from Siege, right? So them being in a PvE environment is kind of weird. Also, the destructibility of the environment it's useful sometimes, but it's not like Siege usability.
Right.
You're not using it every objective.
Your
You also carry the
flashlights can like
reinforcements, which you only use for very specific objectives. Also,
to like for hold objectives. That
Mhm.
your flashlights on your guns can like make the creatures bioluminescent like through walls. So you can like see stuff through destructible walls and shoot it. It's very cool.
it feels really good actually.
Do they explain how that's possible?
I'm sure they
Science.
do in the lore bits.
Okay. Science. Thanks, Chad.
Science.
Yeah.
Just
That-
trust the
that-
science, dog.
Physics, as Caleb would say. Seems cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad they've chosen the optimum player count, which is 3. Because that is the best for games.
Wild.
Wild. Let's move on to a couple of things. Leap, Chad, Alex, you guys played this? What is this?
Yeah, I'll keep this pretty brief. Leap's in closed beta right now. It's very Tribes Ascendi. You got different classes you could choose from, like your quick moving Pathfinder. They actually call it Pathfinder. And then you got your like assault guy, and then your sniper-esque guy. All of them get like a hoverboard to travel across the map pretty quickly. That's on a cooldown after you hop off of it. You get like a couple of abilities. One of them for the Pathfinder is mostly what I played when we played. You throw down a shield that kind of gives you a little. I think it gives you health back. I'm not sure. Or there's an alternative which gives you damage, so you can actually shoot out of the shield, and you just have like extra damage. The game type that we played was like domination or conquest, whatever you want to call that. So there's different points that you had to go to and take over. And then it was like tickets, so you're just constantly killing the tickets of the other team. You could get 20 tickets back if you get to the drop. Yeah, it's a pretty fast-paced
the grappling
shooter.
hook.
Oh, the infinite grappling hook.
Infinite
And
grappling hooks.
It's AOT style because there's like 2 that comes out. AOT is
Yeah.
Attack on Titan for people who don't know.
and they can attach from so far away. You're just grappling all the time, everywhere. That's great.
Best game mechanic. Love it. Grappling.
That's about it. Unless Alex has anything else to talk about on it.
Nah, it's kind of it's okay right now. Hopefully it'll
Yeah.
get better.
It's decent.
Need some balancing.
It'll be fun with friends if we, Alex
Alrighty.
Alex found a TTV and went into his chat to try to talk crap, but then didn't talk crap because he chickened out.
Mm-hmm. Classic. Up next we have Bloon TD6, which I'm almost positive they just accidentally misspelled balloon.
Nope.
Tower Defense 6.
Balloons.
Is this the 6th iteration
Actually,
of this?
I
Jake has talked
misspelled
about
it.
this before.
Have I?
Have you?
I've played
he?
it before. I don't know if I've talked
I
about
don't know
it
if you've
before.
like officially talked about it, but you've definitely mentioned it.
Pretty fun game. Tower Defense.
It is the 6th game in the Bloons Tower Defense series. So, okay. All right.
What did you
TD6.
think it was? It has a
Yeah,
6
what
in the name.
is that question there?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
what are you talking about?
I don't know.
Bloons Tower Defense 6?
Well-
what number is that?
Isn't there like balloons battles or something like that? So like that doesn't have a number, so that could be in the middle, and then anyways.
Maybe? I don't know.
Bloons is a tower
Thanks for trying to
defense
come to the
game
rescue.
that's like crazy fun. I don't know what it is
There-
about it, but
Really?
it's like actually really fun.
A tower defense game that's crazy fun?
It's
Yeah.
actually like crazy fun. It's
What's
like
wrong with
you
tower
could
defense games?
you could play co-op in
But
it.
Usually they're
You
just
don't
like kind
think
of
of them
boring and
as
slow.
crazy fun.
Yeah.
Oh man, we've spent countless hours playing this game.
Balloons
Actually, I can count
has-
them. Hold on, let's.
Bloons has a lot of
Countless.
emphasis on like enemy types that have counterplay, and so you have to like prepare for them, and also like approximately what wave the new enemy type will show up in, and you have to prepare for that accordingly. And you can go, and all your towers have like builds, so like you're looking up like what's the best build for Ice Monkey, and somebody's like, you need to go 502, dude. And it's like what points you're putting in your tower. I don't know. And that's also 4-player co-op. And it's
Which
just
is
like
weird.
it's so chill, and also there's so much stuff happening on screen.
There's also like a lot of different modes that you can play in the game. So like first of all, you play just the regular maps, right? And you go from like easy to whatever hard difficulty there is. And then once you beat those maps, you unlock a tree of like different paths you can take to where like one of them is called like chimps, one's called like impoppable. I myself have not done much research into what those difficulties stand for, but from what I understand, impoppable is the one that everybody tries to beat and is the one that everybody's working towards. And then there's like boss battles or like challenge modes or
There's community
workshop
maps. Yeah.
So there's a lot in the game that you can actually get kind of stuck grinding on.
Tons of stuff.
You level up your monkeys to unlock those builds because they're not just ready for you. You have to like kill a certain amount of balloons to get experience for each tower in order to upgrade them. So like you almost fall when you're playing co-op, you almost fall into a certain category of like, all right, Chad's doing the ice balloons, Alex is doing the snipers, Caitlin's doing like all military stuff. So like the chain gun guy, helicopter, battleships. It's cool. It actually creates a synergy instead of just being like, all right, we're building these stuff, and that's it.
Cool. Last but not least on this list, brand new game just came out this year, Divinity Original Sin 2 Definitive Edition.
So I just put this on this list because we started playing this in a family night, and it is so funny. I have my father's screen on my left monitor and my mom's screen on my right monitor, and I'm watching how they play this game, and it drives me absolutely insane how they are looking at the battlefield, where up in the top left-hand corner, very like a toe is sticking out from the enemy, and then like their camera is just like in Narnia, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, just move your just rotate it and like get it onto the battlefield. Hit O if you need to actually see stuff. And then my mother is just like,
turn-based, it was going to be like so simple because they'd have infinite time to like react to things.
Sure.
yeah.
And it's still like they can't get the concept of like camera positioning.
And so we're like, okay, Mom, what you're gonna do is you're going to use your fire daggers, and then she's walking across the map. What did you? Why did you move already? I was halfway through my instructions. Like you didn't even wait for the end result of like, and then like, yeah. No, it's
she's
been
ready
a lot
to
of fun.
do a freaking gamer move.
Yeah.
She's like, fire daggers, got it. I'm in.
That she just has for some reason she's having a issue with. Even though she plays Guild Wars, where you have to click a skill and then click somewhere to use said skill, she's not grasping that concept of she has to click a skill in order to use that skill. And so she somehow walks instead of using the skill. And I don't know how, I'm mind boggled at like how do I put myself in that like set of shoes to understand what's going on there, because it's just so foreign to me.
It is like 90% their fault that they're messing up, but I will say, benefit of the doubt, it's pretty easy to misclick stuff in that game and accidentally
It is
like shoot stuff or accidentally walk somewhere that when you're trying to attack somebody.
I have done that on so many occasions of just being like, oh yeah, okay, so I'm gonna just go. I didn't mean to walk.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it has been a fun time, and I think they are actually enjoying the game and like talking to the talking squirrel and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Porcus.
Cool. Speaking of RPGs, I thought I'd just mention this kind of in transition and move us over to news, but I was reading recently, it must have been last week that I saw this, but the people who made Rook One Games, the people who made the Pathfinder Kingmaker CRPG had a still of Starfinder on their website
or they were a developer. They didn't make it. They were a developer on Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Okay, that makes more sense.
They had a still on their website of a Starfinder battle with quote upcoming space themed CRPG, and freaking the Starfinder RPG subreddit was absolutely just blowing up. People were losing their minds. So of course, in good fashion, Paizo comes on, their PR team. They were like, "Yeah, sorry, you want this, we want this. False alarm, not at this time.
Dang.
Sucks to suck.
Whoa,
Adventures ahead, guys. Bye."
brutal.
Yeah, brutal. So it makes me sad. We could have had a Starfinder CRPG. That would have been, whew, that'd have been fun. There's space for that, I believe.
There's space.
Space.
Okay,
How did I miss that?
On to the important news, though. Probably the biggest news of the week. Microsoft recently acquired Activision Blizzard for, what was it, 65 billion?
68 point some mil.
No,
Not quite
Bill.
69.
Bill.
Sorry.
Close to $70 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, $70 million.
Insane.
Which is kind of nuts. That's a lot of IPs to purchase. A lot of excellent games made by Blizzard. The Microsoft is now taking over. Alex, I don't know if you had something specifically you wanted to say about this, or you just wanted to highlight it, but
Oh, we definitely just needed to mention it. I don't know if anybody had any
Okay, then I do.
opinions they wanted to give.
Oh, we got hot takes because I feel like there's a lot of hot takes. Jake had the hottest take.
Did I?
believe. Yeah.
Oh,
About
I don't know. That was the conversation I had with Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, just that. Hopefully, it doesn't derail the unionization effort. Which is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
fun fact? It will.
I mean, so it kind of already has, right? Like the
Yeah.
Raven Software. This is only tangentially related, but the Raven Software QA team started making moves to form a union and basically asked Blizzard to like recognize them, and so Blizzard has now split up that team among several different teams.
They
Classic
were like,
move.
no.
Yeah, so that's probably not a great start to that.
yeah.
But
I
I
did read an article of somebody who joined Activision Blizzard on Monday, and so that they open up their company email, and the first thing that they see from their company email is that the company is going to be bought out by Microsoft. And you know where that person used to work and just left? Oh, that would be Microsoft.
That's rough.
excellent.
Yikes.
And I was like, that's got to be real awkward for that individual.
No,
That
dude,
was
I'd be flattered. They felt so bad about losing him. They bought his new company just to get him
They
back.
bought the entire company to get the
Yeah,
one
we
we
person
can't
back.
lose this
Damn.
one person.
It also all depends on how they left. I mean, usually when you quit a job, it's not in like spite. It's just
Sure.
career opportunity advancements. And so
Yeah.
maybe they're still in a position that's a career opportunity advancement, and now they're just back at Microsoft. And maybe they liked Microsoft and they just had a better opportunity elsewhere. And now they're back at Microsoft, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Which oftentimes, I know we don't think about it this way, but oftentimes those companies are so big, like people don't really pay attention to moves like that. Like, from the top down,
sure.
that perspective,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
one person. So like bringing them back over to Microsoft, it's not like they're going to be spiteful. It's not like they were spiteful. It's not like the people who necessarily move were spiteful. All of that is moved. Like you moving as an individual from a large company to another large company is you're just a number, essentially.
Right, it's a
God,
rounding
yes.
error. It's nothing.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter. The one thing I thought was interesting about this, if you guys listen to ever any news podcasts, there's a podcast from the New York Times called The Daily.
Yeah.
Michael Barbaro actually covered this with their tech guy. I don't know his name, but they actually spent about 40 minutes talking about this acquisition, but not because of the IPs, but specifically because when Microsoft announced this, they said that they are doing this to position themselves in the metaverse. It's specifically why they said they acquired Blizzard. And
Okay.
it's really,
That's
it was really
that's
unique.
a dumb reason.
Yeah,
Oh,
what does
and
that
that's-
even mean?
Well, it doesn't mean, the point is, it doesn't mean anything. They like, no one knows what the metaverse is really. So whatever. I think they did it just as kind of like it doesn't really matter what they call it PR wise, because they're buying all these IPs they're going to make billions of dollars off of. So it's irrelevant why they have their reasoning. But it was interesting because they dove in a little bit about all of these companies who are making the same type of move. Disney Plus CEO recently announcing that Disney Plus is their foothold in the metaverse. Fortnite's CEO, Epic Games CEO, is talking about how Fortnite itself is essentially the start of the metaverse.
Sure, dude. Sure, whatever.
What does that mean?
Buzzwords.
I know.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
this is just
buzzword.
synergy. This
Yeah,
is,
it's
it
corporate
really-
buzzwords
it's-
for video games.
It's
Just
exactly
to-
what it is. It's buzzwords.
To branch off on that, I actually saw a video the other day of what Fortnite will look like when Unreal Engine 5 comes out, and it like what the footage I saw, and this was probably just heavily modded Fortnite, was just GTA Fortnite and like hyper realistic atmosphere with Fortnite characters. So it's basically like a Real Guy, the movie, and then Fortnite characters in it, or Ready Player One, and it's just wild to think that when Unreal Engine 5 comes out, they're probably going to shift over to it because it's Epic Games, so why wouldn't they?
Right.
And then if they actually do unlock, which was leaked, the creative atmosphere of the Unreal Engine 5 tools for Fortnite people, then you would probably see stuff like that,
Right.
which would be really, really, really cool.
Yeah, no way they changed the core game to that, like away from the art style it has.
No, it's just gonna be like
Right, no.
because there's like the creative mode inside of
Yeah.
Fortnite where people create stuff anyways, and so what they're saying is Creative 2.0, like the new creative, is going to be like a heavily modded area where it could look like GTA. The regular game mode's always going to stay the cartoonish, like fun looking,
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Fortnite mode.
I'll post a link to the podcast. You guys should take a look. It's only like 40 minutes, but it's actually really
Short.
weird.
The metaverse
weird.
statement's weird. The real reason they bought them is clearly because they want to
They
add
need
all
to
their
compete
IP
with
to
Sony.
Game Pass.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
And they're
they
probably
already mentioned that they were going to combine a World of Warcraft subscription with Game Pass.
That's
Mhm.
actually kind of sick.
And I was
mean,
just
that's
like,
brilliant.
if I'm already going to be paying $15 a month on a WoW sub to get other games with it, that just is going to make it way more valuable.
Something tells me the
Mhm.
price is going to increase.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Certain of that.
They're keeping the price low right now to get as many people as possible in the mindset of I just always need to have Game Pass because it's such a good value.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
The way they did
once
with Netflix.
every game is on Game Pass,
Yeah,
yeah, that's it. It's over. You just keep
Yeah.
cranking that boy.
yep.
start cranking it up.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
that's how Netflix. I mean,
Yeah,
they
how
just
many-
had a price
Exactly.
hike recently.
How many price increases Netflix has had over the years? It's crazy.
Which what you pay like $30 to $60 a month on Game Pass, and at 60, I'm being like super generous with the price increase. What do you pay for games regularly already right now per month?
Right. Well, in
Like-
February, we're all going to spend approximately $220 on 3
Right.
games. So there's that.
we are.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Not you,
multiple of
Owen.
us will be spending that. Let's see.
all comes
Destiny's Witch Queen.
Okay, so there's
Um,
60 I'm saving. Okay, continue.
Yeah. No, that's $100.
Okay.
Dying
That's
Light
$100
2.
bucks.
It's
Okay, cool.
$100.
So there's
Dying Light 2,
160 I'm not
$6.
paying.
And then whatchamacallit, Elden Ring,
Elden
$60.
Okay, Elden Ring, I actually am somewhat interested in. I'm paying $60 tomorrow for fucking Pokemon, so
Great.
I'm
saving
over here probably.
$60. Sure.
Heck yeah.
I'm excited for it. I don't care.
I'm happy for you.
But back to the Activision Blizzard stuff. I mean, the nice thing seems to be what it's coming out of. I forget his name, but the CEO of Microsoft. When he was talking about the acquisition, he was just like, "Hey, if you want to, like all of these IPs that we're about to purchase, if you want to like make a game out of any of these IPs, let's fucking do it. Like, let's go." Like, he seems actually excited about like maybe resurrecting some of those IPs and doing stuff and like caring about games themselves and not just being like, "Oh, we're doing this because we want to own everything." I mean, I'm sure that's why he's doing it, but also it's like, well, maybe there actually might be some cool like games to come out of it as well.
I mean,
Am
they,
I-
they can't be worse than Activision Blizzard,
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Right?
it's the
I
one
thought-
upside.
I thought Microsoft was like semi-known for actually treating their employees like humans.
They
Is that
do.
true?
Yes.
So
Good on you,
Yeah.
Microsoft.
Yes, they do. I have
Yeah.
I have a friend, like 2 friends of a friend who both work there, and they're like,
Mm.
it's excellent. Everything is great. All of their
Wow.
policies for like leave, maternal leave, paternal leave, regular leave, it's just basically unlimited. Like, they
Basically,
don't
just
have, like,
all
a-
the leave is all they talked about. They just loved talking
They
about
love
not
not
working.
They're okay, fine. You want me to keep going? Their work-life balance is excellent. They have biophilic design in every building that they create, which
I
is
don't know what that word means.
I
It just
love
means that
biophils.
it's a combination of the built space interacting with environment around the built
Oh,
space.
I love
That's
that.
what
nice.
biophilic design is.
10
That's
out of
cool.
10.
So far, out of
So-
those two examples, one of them was semi still not working.
Yeah, the work-life balance thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, what everyone loves about working at Microsoft is not working at Microsoft.
I mean, to be fair, with crunch culture so prevalent in games, that's actually like
Yeah.
super big. I feel like,
Yeah,
For sure.
very much
like
so.
I know we're just memeing, but that is worth like noticing. Like, hey, that's actually something the games industry is really bad about. Actually,
Mhm.
That's
Yep.
true.
like aggressively bad.
Couple other things here in news. Jake, should we talk about Dark Souls for a second?
This is a really quick one. Someone brought up in our Discord server. There was a exploit in the Dark Souls PvE code, I guess, that let people just run any code on anyone's machine connected.
No way.
Yeah, like
That's
literally,
pretty
there's a video. I'll post this. I can send this link afterwards that we can post. But literally, a guy's like streaming Dark Souls, and the game crashes, and his text to speech just starts reading off this copy pasta stuff that some other guy was
Nice.
just like ran remotely on his machine.
Somebody runs the B movie script on your computer.
But like,
They took, from what I
Do
heard,
you
they
like
took down
jazz?
all the servers.
oh
for
yeah,
the Dark Souls games.
yeah. I don't think this was live for super long. Like obviously it
Yeah.
was a thing, like it was happening. But yeah, the servers are, as far as I'm aware, still shut down. You can't
Yeah.
connect. Like you can still play the games offline,
Mhm.
but you can't do any of the online stuff.
That is
Uh,
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a pretty bad fuck up. Like
Yeah.
a text to speech running
Big.
on your computer is like your best case scenario, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
mean, pretty
yikes.
soon they're going to be installing Provoxy on everybody's computer.
Yeah, right.
You know, Texas Speech is just like a friendly prankster.
There's been
never
a
going
couple
away,
of those exploits recently. There was also the Java exploit like a month ago or so,
I don't know if I know that one.
Yeah, I haven't heard
where
of
it was
that.
like just the version of Java things used had an exploit in it that you could just execute stuff. So, like for
Man.
instance, you could be playing Minecraft and like somebody could enter code in the chat and it would like do stuff on your
Oh my
computer.
god.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Too bad. Too
Pretty
bad.
bad.
Wow.
Speaking of P-Bad,
NFTs.
Yeah, so this is a little bit dated at this point. But Square Enix has just put out like a letter, like a company-wide letter. I think it might have been from like the president and representative director of Square Enix. And it's the usual crap, like, oh, we're so excited about NFTs. But there's one part that I just thought was so fun that I would love to read to you guys.
Please.
I realize that some people who, quote, play to have fun, and who currently form the majority of players, have voiced their reservations toward these new trends, and understandably so. However, I believe there will be a certain number of people whose motivation is to, quote, play to contribute, by which I mean play to make the game more exciting. Traditional gaming has offered no explicit incentive to this latter group of people, who are motivated strictly by inconsistent personal feelings such as goodwill and volunteer spirit.
What?
I have
What?
literally no idea.
What is
So
going
there's like
on?
there's this group of players, these poor people who just play to keep the gaming community going. They don't even like video games; they hate them, but they play it so other people can have fun, and they'll love
yeah.
NFTs.
I mean, it sounds like
Totally.
someone sitting there just being like, hey, those people have this thing that they do that's called labor, and they do this labor for free, and we want that labor.
Mhm.
I mean, basically, it's just the fact that "play to have fun" is in quotes is
Yeah.
the grossest, most
ridiculous.
hilarious thing I've ever read.
Gosh.
Have you guys followed anybody who's talking about the developments of these games that are just purely blockchain NFT games like Starship and what's the other one? There's multiple people, multiple accounts that have been promoting them on TikTok recently. They're like NFT centric video games. So the whole point is all of the assets that are developed within the games are NFTs, and essentially people will join them and then trade those for actual real world money, and the value will increase because people believe those assets are worth it. Yada yada yada. And so that's what they're building the entire platform off of.
Mm-hmm.
Go
I,
read.
Well,
I'm
it will
actually
make you
want to throw up on some of what they talk about.
I mean, I already want to throw up just talking about NFTs. So
I'm actually signed up for one.
Oh,
it's called
no!
it's called Big Time, and the reason I'm signed up is one, because I didn't know much about NFTs when I signed up, but two, it's being developed by like a couple guys from back in the Gears of War days and stuff like that. So and the gameplay and like the game itself looks kind of cool. What is that? Necropolis?
Necropolis?
Just guessing.
that is the name of a thing.
I mean, isn't Necropolis a thing, right?
Oh
That's
yeah,
a
it is.
game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks kind of like that. But a little bit more bright, because Necropolis was kind of dark. If that is the game, somebody can correct me if they're actually looking for it. But yeah, so Big Time is one of the ones that I'm looking into.
While we're on blockchain stuff, I don't have this in the notes, but did you guys hear Kickstarter's going blockchain?
What?
Yes,
I
we
mean,
talked
What
about
does
this
that
before.
mean?
Okay,
What?
so they're building a protocol like HTTP, etc., that's blockchain focused in some way. And a bunch of the creators are upset because there's a lot of stuff about blockchain not being good for the environment and stuff. And Kickstarter has like a section they make a bunch of creators fill out about how their product is like environmentally healthy. And then they're throwing this out there, and so people are getting really upset. And they keep saying it'll be really good for the creators. And everybody's like, can you tell us how it's going to be good for the creators? And they're like, guys, it's going to be good for the creators.
I still don't really understand.
Just trust us.
It's like an alternate way to present the content, like not over like HTTP or something.
That's what
Is
it
it
seems
like Tor or something like that, like how Tor is like its own thing.
I think so, yeah.
How cool.
It is very confusing, and they're making
Who's
a lot
gonna
of people
use
very
that?
angry. And
Well,
they're
I mean,
just, it's so weird.
I guess if they transition to not using regular HTTP anymore, but also I think that tanks their
supposedly-
business immediately.
Yeah.
Supposedly, it'll be a protocol that is very beneficial to
Creators.
crowdfunding.
And what?
Crowdsourcing.
How? Tell me how.
We have no
Yeah.
idea. Everybody, we're all just assuming they're
What is
doing
the
this to
benefit?
make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
that's what most of it is. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely,
most of
right?
it is. It's
That's why
you know what?
Square
Weird.
Enix is horny for it.
It's
Mhm.
annoying because this all started really with crypto when Bitcoin
Mhm.
started, and Bitcoin. There are some really good things about what Bitcoin want to do, but the problem is none of it's moderated. So now freaking everybody is making a freaking cryptocurrency coin,
Sure.
and all of those people are finding influencers to say, "Hey, buy this crypto because it's gonna freaking go to the moon," and then everybody does, and then the people who own it all sell it out, and everybody else loses their money.
Hey. NFA though.
Gosh. All of it. It's
I think
all
the
a big
worst one-
freaking scam.
It's
There was
ridiculous.
there was a crypto based on Squid Game,
Mm-hmm.
and the creators of it let it get a little popular. It gained some traction. Price went up a bit. And then somehow they locked it down to where nobody could sell it, and they sold all their assets, and the price went to zero like instantaneously.
That sounds about right.
And
Yeah,
they
they,
made
like-
like crazy money.
They like tied it to a different currency that was like impossible
Completely
to get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Devalued
and
currency.
then sold all their stuff, and we're like, okay, sorry.
That is just insane.
Freaking joke. But that's the problem is like somebody wants to create something that's good, and then everybody goes and comes in and they're like, well, I feel like I can make money off of this.
Yeah.
I think you might be giving the creators too much credit. I feel like a lot of times the creators come in with, we're gonna make so much money.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
it
don't
might
mean-
just be scams all the way down.
I
Yeah.
don't mean I'm saying like the originator. Like I actually think Bitcoin in itself in what it was designed to do is probably a really good next
Sure.
iteration of things. But literally the first businessman who saw that and saw Bitcoin skyrocket was like, "Oh, this is it. This is the money maker. We're going to launch our own crypto and then we're going to just pump up the prices.
Yeah.
Then we're going to sell it all."
There's a lot of scams. I think it can be okay. You have to like research like who made it. Like, do you trust them? Like, what's the stability of the coin? How long has it been in existence? that kind of stuff. Like just going off of memes or like whatever the popular pop culture thing is right now and being like, well, this will be popular. I could probably make money in this. You're probably going to get screwed over.
Before we move on from this, the one I was thinking of that I couldn't remember the name of is Star Atlas. All of the assets in Star Atlas are NFTs. You should just go to the website and just look what they're talking about. Some things will make you want to throw up. Moving on, though. We have a couple other things to talk about here in news. I have a number 4 in here.
Yeah,
I have no idea
Don't
what that
worry,
means.
I got you. So the other day, I saw a 47-second video on the Twitters.
Yeah?
And I actually didn't see the profile that posted it. And I just watched this 47-second
Can
video.
I guess?
Right? No, you can't guess.
I already know.
Okay, what are you gonna
It's the Mouse Company. It's whatever their name
Oh,
is.
no, it's not. It's not. You're actually going to
nice.
be really excited about this. I think all of you are
Final
going to be
Mouse.
excited about this.
Final Mouse.
So the video starts off with like an abstract of like a red dwarf, like maybe exploding sun, whatever. You see like the trails coming off of it.
Borealis.
I guess the planet that it was next to starts to just disintegrate, and then it reverses itself, and from the ashes it starts building everything up. You start seeing like a chain link fence kind of looking thing, but all this dust is coming together. It's very black and white. Creates this pan out, and you see the number 4. I'm like, what the heck did I just watch?
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked at who the profile was, and it's Crytek. So we're getting a Crysis 4.
Yeah.
And that was announced
right.
yesterday.
Okay.
So
I was
I thought you
guessing
were gonna say
Metroid Prime,
Fantastic Four for
Yeah.
a second.
I was going to sarcastically say Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime 4, or Mass Effect 4. Yeah, those are my guesses.
Anytime you say something about seeing a viral tweet, I just immediately assume it's Final Mouse.
I
Go
don't even
outside.
know. I don't even know if like do I even follow them anymore? I think
hope
they went
not.
private at one point, and I wasn't
I hope
following them
so.
or something like that.
Forever.
Oh, I'm still following them. Okay.
Oh no. Also, other news in terms of things that either survive or die. This Hyperscape.
Survivor.
Surviving
Have
or
you
dying?
guys heard about this?
Is it? I never heard of it. Is it a game or?
No, I mean like the new announcement that came out.
Yeah.
Was it
You
today? I think
texted
it was
us.
today. Okay, yeah, I got you. So today they announced, and a lot of people are like actually super upset about this. They announced that they are pulling the plug on Hyperscape, even though we all thought it was already pulled and plugged, and
Pulled and plugged.
But basically the tweets that are coming out that people are upset about is like, literally you haven't given us any news in the past like 8 months, and this is the first time you come back and you're saying you're closing it. Like why wouldn't you just say nothing? Like, and I'm like, guys, they have to come out to the 3 people that are still playing the game and like let them know. So,
warn them before they shut the servers down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So servers are going down.
There is I listen to a lot of podcasts, but there is a podcast from This American Life where they talk about the day that they pulled the servers on The Sims Online. Very incredible.
That weirdly sounds interesting.
Yeah, because the universe was like, people loved it. They spent their entire life in it. Everything they did was in The Sims Online.
It's like
and
the
then
metaverse.
one day it was the last day. They had a date that they were going to pull the plug, and everybody knew it, and they came on and they joined and they were talking, and then all of a sudden it was done, and that was part of their life that was gone forever. It's a wild story.
I
like
mean,
Neopets.
the wildest like game ending pulling the plug thing that I've ever heard was the stuff from Halo 2. Because that was an insane thing of they were like, hey, we're gonna pull the plug once like the last person signs off. And so there was like this group of people, like 30 some people, that just refused to turn off their Xboxes. And so for like weeks, it was just like this renegade group, and they all like found each other somehow because they were the only ones that were still on the server. And so they were all like joining each other's games because they never turned off their Xboxes. And then slowly, one by one, things would happen or whatever. They're like, okay, I've done my farewell. And so like slowly it just became like this smaller and smaller group. And like people were watching the streams and these videos that were being put out of like these last couple of people, because like Some people voluntarily turned off. Some people like power flickered, or the Xboxes finally gave up, or anything like that. And so it was finally like there's just like this one guy that was there, and he was just like glitching himself out of a bunch of maps by himself, just trying to keep the dream alive.
That sounds so
What-
depressing to be that last guy.
When you said, I think the worst one I've ever heard of, I thought you were going to say something about Nosgoth. I thought that's where this was
Yeah.
going.
Too
But-
soon.
Yeah. What a good game.
They just shut down Halo 3 recently,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and that wasn't a big event.
Yeah, sad day.
There's also like a bunch of videos you can find on YouTube of like deaths of different MMOs. They're kind of interesting seeing like the final moments of a server and everybody like in the common areas and stuff.
And it's all just like falling apart around them.
I don't know about that.
That's what Fortnite will do when it finally shuts its servers down.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? They'll have
Dude,
like a big show. They have
The
to.
game
Mhm.
documentary on Fortnite when it dies. I want to watch that one.
I'm sure
I
it'll
think
be
that
good.
one's going to be a good one.
I'm sure it will be. Last but not least, in this category of news, we should probably talk about
Is this Pikmin? The
Pokemon.
new Pikmin game?
No, the game that Owen's going to pick up for $60 got leaked like a week ahead of its release date.
$60.
I love that you make it sound like I'm some chump for buying the game.
I'm just referencing when you said that you were going to go buy it for $60 earlier.
Yeah.
I mean,
It got leaked like a week before ahead of release and is playable, like fully playable on emulators. No problem.
Good
Sort
stuff.
of like Metroid Dread is playable on emulators, but
Why even
I
buy
just-
it at this point?
because
Because
Mo-
you shouldn't pirate
most
games.
video games you can probably get for free if you try hard enough.
It's probably true.
But
Yeah, but it's so much easier nowadays, to just buy it.
It is true.
My days of sitting for 48 to 72 hours trying to get a game to work is behind me.
yeah.
there's a famous quote from Gabe Newell somewhere about make the service easier, and that's how
And
you'll get
stealing
people
it?
to buy it.
I don't
Yeah.
know if this is what you're talking about, but piracy is a service problem, not
Yeah.
a price problem. Something like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
that is a very valid quote, especially if you think about what's going on or has happened with like things like Netflix. When we went from
Absolutely.
Comcast to going to streaming services, and now there's multiple streaming services, you're trying to like package that content into
Yeah.
new streaming service, and everybody's like branching out. Well, now there's a service problem again, which is why piracy
Mhm.
numbers are like back up because no
Yeah.
one wants to pay
Absolutely.
$15 for 15 different services.
Yes.
It's the
No
same
one
thing
just
as
wants to have to deal with all the different
The-
ones.
no.
The bigger issue is, hey, I want to watch season 2 of Bob's Burgers. Where is that again? Is it on Netflix? No, of course it's not. It wouldn't be on Disney Plus. Is it on Hulu? It used to be on Hulu. Or
There's-
I have it on my hard drive right now.
Yeah.
I click the file, we watch the show.
Yeah,
That's so
Yeah.
true.
there are entire websites dedicated to telling you where you can stream stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
stream it? Just
Because
watch.
you need it. It's
There's
so
multiple.
hard to find stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Google has integrated that into their search algorithm now. So if
Yeah.
you search in the right-hand bar, it'll show you where you can actually stream it at, which is nice.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
I like that. Piracy is a service problem, not a what?
Yeah, I'll just Google the piracy is a service problem. Hey, this is actually it was Gabe Newell. Piracy is not a pricing issue, it's a service issue.
Man,
Look at that. Came full circle. We were
guy
all
knew
right.
all along. Smart. Smart.
Smart.
Smart.
That was like over a decade ago he said that.
Yeah, this article is from 2011.
Woof. Woof.
It also has a picture of him holding a minigun, so you know it's reliable.
That's needed. That's actually the icon for our Twitch. I mean our podcast this week.
Yeah.
right?
Perfect.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely is. 100%. Last but not least, we should probably talk about yesterday's lawsuit in the film world.
Yeah, so I don't know if you have seen this, and it was just like a weird bit of film news, but these two people really, really love Anna de Armas, like just so much. And so they bought yesterday to watch because the trailer has Ana de Armas in the trailer. However, she is not in the film at all because she got cut, her one scene got cut out.
Wow.
And so they're now suing Universal, I believe was the company that made the movie, because they were like, hey, this is false advertising. She's not in the film. And I was just like, this is a batshit insane lawsuit. And
I mean, it is ridiculous.
So intrigued.
And
but
yet,
they're not wrong, technically.
Yeah.
And yet we live in a society in which that is a
you
winnable
said it.
lawsuit.
You said the line.
We do live in a society.
We live in a society. Bottom text.
And so it was just like such an interesting thing of just being like, this is definitely a winnable thing because she's not in it. But also, like,
Why?
Why? Like, she's not a main character. She was a tertiary character even in the trailer of things. So, like, this is such a non-issue thing that is going to be a lawsuit over that I'm just fascinated by.
I've wondered this for a while, because so many trailers have stuff that's not in the movie. Like,
Yeah.
at what point is it false advertising? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that's the fun thing that we're going to find out from this lawsuit of when does it actually become false advertising. Like, the thing that I always remember is the fact that in Rogue One,
Yes.
the trailer,
Yeah.
she says, this is a rebellion, right? I rebel. Which was like a badass fucking line that
So
is
cool.
nowhere in the fucking film.
No, I think it was Red Letter Media in like one of their things. They showed the Rogue One trailer and just put on "not in the actual movie" over every scene,
that
that
one's
was not.
particularly bad.
and it was like 90% of the trailer,
Yeah.
and it's like, is this legal? Can you do this? Because when you're saying this is our movie, and then it's like, well, no, it's not.
Yeah. Does this lawsuit go through and then establish a precedent, and then all movie trailers have to have everything that's in them in the movie from now on?
I mean, I feel like they should.
Which, I mean, they put those trailers out before the movies are done. So if they
Right.
wanted to make changes to improve the movie, but then now they're like, actually, we can't change that because this was in the trailer.
I.e. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
I
he's
feel like
awful.
that's
You
its
gotta
own
do it.
category of
You gotta put that Sonic in.
Gotta
now.
do it. Yeah,
Doesn't matter
I
how
don't
bad he
know.
was.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah, it
Well-
was just very interesting, and I was like, I want to see how this shakes out. I want to know how it gets ruled, because I'm sure that it's going to have a very large impact on how things are trailered, because they won't want the lawsuit. And on the one hand, I kind of agree of just being like, if you're gonna put shit in your trailer, put it in the actual medium. But I also understand on the flip side of like, I would never want a trailer for Doki Doki to, you know, tell me the trick of Doki Doki, or like
Sure,
any M.
but,
Night
I mean, you
Shyamalan
can
shit.
still
A trailer
not
doesn't
give
need to
everything
put the
away.
entire movie, right?
That's
Well, that-
also true.
Honestly, that is a problem with trailers now, though. Is
They
that
always
you
do
can
that a
watch
lot.
some trailers and see the entire movie without ever going to see the movie.
Trailers
Which is
suck,
awful.
man. Just stop making
Okay, what
trailers.
about-
They're terrible.
What about things like Spider-Man No Way Home, how they like removed digital elements from scenes in the trailer to try to like keep some things mysterious, and then you watch it in the scene and it's like, it is different because they've added things. Is that false advertising?
Yeah, but
because it's
everything that was
different?
in it is in the movie.
That's true. They added stuff. I don't know.
Get
I
me
mean,
started on Spider-Man's trailer. Okay.
It also is just fascinating of just like, out of everybody, it's this movie and it's Ana de Armas. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't understand what the play is here, because it's not like it was somebody prominent in a film that was cut that we have multiple examples of, or like trailers that were vastly different that like misled you to thinking of what the movie was, or
mean,
just like
that is what happened, though. The trailer said this actress is in this movie, and then no, they were not.
yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah, but like it was literally a scene, and that's the thing that I'm fascinated by. Also, is I was like, it's not like they reshot the entire movie. It was like one scene that they were like, yeah, he's not gonna hook up with this girl, and that's what they cut out.
But Jake made a good point. Like, it doesn't necessarily say she's in the movie. You just infer that she's in the movie because you've seen a scene in a trailer that has her in it.
It doesn't necessarily at the end of that movie say starring Ana de Armas.
I mean, you know what? You know this whole thing. You know how this happened? They're sitting around. They're like, "What should we watch tonight?" And they're like, "I don't know." And then somebody saw the poster for Yesterday, and they're like, "Oh, we could watch Yesterday. Ana de Armas is in that. Remember that trailer?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I do remember seeing that. Yeah, let's watch that." And then they watched it, and she wasn't in it, and they were like, "She wasn't in it. What? That's weird."
Yeah,
and then they like had this story, and they told one of their friends, and they're like, I bet you could sue for that. It's like false advertising. And they're like, I bet you're right. And then they're like, they acted way more mad than they actually are.
There was just somebody that was pissed that they didn't see Ana de Armas boobies, okay?
Honestly, yeah, I think that's what they were going for. I don't think this was like we wanted to just see a movie, remember that one thing. I think this was just like, they heard that there was an Ana de Armas sex scene, and they did not get it, and so now they're like suing up the wazoo until they see, which, like, by the way, she's naked in a bunch of other films. I don't know how to tell you that, but like, you don't need to see
just
this
did.
one. Fun fact, like, I don't know.
They've seen those though.
Yeah, come on. That's
Yeah.
old news. New stuff, Owen.
New stuff, I guess.
Come
yeah.
on. Nude stuff?
Nude stuff.
Nude
There it
stuff.
is.
That's
Oh,
really
we
hard
did
to
it.
say. It's hard to enunciate, guys.
Backtracking for 2 seconds. Interstellar, greatest trailer ever.
It's a good trailer.
That's a good trailer. Although
It shows
That's
like
kinda-
nothing in the movie.
that's kind of his trailers, though. That's how all of his movies are.
They're
like
wonderful.
that. Yeah.
Christopher Nolan pretty good at movies.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Hot.
I don't think that's a hot
I think
take.
that's a hot take. All right. On that note, we probably better call it because we've been here for a minute.
Yeah.
But
You don't want to go for another 2 hours?
I personally could talk for a long time.
Oh my
But,
god! Stop. Cut the
I'm
feed.
out.
Cut it.
I'm done.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will catch you next time.